Looper, they put out absolute garbage.
Yes. This is what
They're
drives
like,
me to make my videos, among other
what?
things.
Why you don't see blah 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 anymore, and it's always
Yep.
just absolute garbage. Like one of them was why Hollywood will not cast Alison
Oh,
Hannigan,
those
and I'm
are.
like, she just spent 10 years on a TV show. You fucking morons, you morons.
Yeah, I saw all the commotion on Reddit about Brendan Fraser. Then Lupin put out a video why they won't cast him, and I was like, "Wait, what? Why are you bringing this up now?" It's like this is awfully convenient. You just like watch fucking every piece of social media. Like, who does everyone care about right now?
Well,
That's how
that's.
it
I
feels
mean,
like looking at these
that's
channels.
the Citizens formula too, right? Like
Oh god.
Oh
those.
my god! Oh, I meant to ask you. Have you seen their actual video on Civil War? Because I looked at it for some research. I
I
never actually
think
watched it.
that may have actually been the time when I stopped watching them. Was some movie I really enjoyed. I mean that's the thing, right? Like that joke is hello everyone, welcome. We'll tell you what's going on here in a second.
Howdy.
And if you guys want, oh, I guess I should tweet this out. What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, it's the Citizens. That's the thing about it, right? Like the joke is funny as long as you're in on it, but as soon as they're sort of making fun of something that is precious to you.
Have you seen anything from Bob Vids? He's the biggest critic on YouTube. He makes a lot of
Yeah,
really
yeah.
yeah.
His
So he said they're not consistent at all in terms of what they're actually offering. You can never even tell what set of mindset you should be in when you're taking their content in because you're like, so this is serious criticism mixed with jokes, mixed
right.
with deliberately bad
Is
criticism.
it a review or
Is
is it satire? That's the and you have to distinguish between the two of them.
is
Yeah,
that the everything wrong with everything wrong with?
yeah.
Yeah, I've
Dude,
seen
his
those.
video on his Civil War one is beautiful. He just
I
rips it.
like
From.
how he
Oops.
pointed out like he was talking about them saying it's all a joke, but then Jeremy he films these like reviews of movies in his car, and he
Yeah.
talks about the same stuff that they mentioned on CinemaSins. So it's
Yeah, like just missing so much, and this is going to happen, right? If you cover every single film that comes out, you cannot absorb it. You're just going to go this next one, and it's just like
yeah.
Yeah,
for all
well,
the people who do care.
eh, it's tough, right? I mean, I think the impression reviewers that you and I were talking about the other night have it a little easier because CinemaSins' whole formula is based around dumping on something. That's the whole joke.
Hmm.
Is it's like cynical sins, you know, it's pure cynicism, and so you have to eviscerate everything,
Yeah.
even someone's darling, even something that's sort of cherished and
Yeah, and they do
that
those like
that
undo sins where they're like, okay, it was good here, and they take one away, that
and what
sort of
was
stuff.
weird is when I subscribed to their content because someone said to me that I sounded like Jeremy, that my voice sounded similar.
What?
I don't know.
Not to
Oh.
me, but okay.
Well, I
Yeah,
want
not to me either.
you know, I think whenever you start doing anything, it behooves you to immerse yourself in as much content as you can that is similar to what you're thinking of doing. So if you're thinking of taking up the piano, you want to listen to as much piano music as possible. If you're thinking of, you know, so on, if you're thinking of being an author, you should be reading constantly. And
Hmm.
so when I got started doing this, the first thing I did was search around for all the mainstream reviewers, the Jeremy Jams, the Chris Stuckmans,
Right.
those types of guys, and that was sort of when I started watching CinemaSins. And at first, I think it's there's joy to they're very good editors. There's joy to what they
Oh yeah.
do,
Sure. Yeah.
but it just started to wear thin on me. And I'm pretty sure it was it might have been the Civil War one where I just sort of said, oh, hold on one sec. Sorry, checking chat. Hi, everyone. Let's go ahead and give me one sec. Let me check chat. Discord is what's happening now. Hey, Lou.
Hey Ian,
Hey, Audrey.
guess what?
What?
46 viewers, man.
Yeah, well, 43. Oh, I've got 43. So,
44 now.
as one of the sorry, my audio output is or my audio input's a little hot. Let me turn that down slightly. As one of the Patreon bonuses that we do each month, we have an episode discussion. And so Jack and I decided tonight to rewatch the episode we're discussing. I think it's the Google Hangout tier on the Patreon. We're discussing Prophecy Girl. And Mauler, I got it right that time.
Hey.
And I have been chatting. Mauler has his own channel. Mauler, do you have a custom URL?
Oh, you mean like something that isn't a bunch of letters and
Yeah,
stuff?
YouTube/.
I think I do. Hang on.
I think you do too.
I remember trying to set it. I think it was like the Molly YT. How do you find it? Oh, I think.
I don't know.
Hang on.
I'm bad at interneting. And I'm like, we've established I'm like 12 years older, dude. You're supposed to be telling me how to do everything.
No. I refuse. Okay, yeah, I can. Hang on, I'll PM you it. Apparently that does work, yeah, so I guess I set that at some point. Changed my name since then.
Mauler on Twitter is at Mauler93. Mauler just did a. I'm just going to call you Cal, not Mauler, because that makes me feel
Sweet.
weird
No problem.
inside. Cal just put out a 4 video review of. Was it 3 parts or 4, man?
It was a quick angry review and then a 3-part, like, in-depth, no swearing, straight-faced one.
It's a review of The Last Jedi, where he goes sort of beat by beat through the entire script. So make sure you go check that out. And did you? You did PM it to me. Oh, in Discord. I'm having to learn so many new things. I'll make sure. Oh, there we go. It's youtube.com/user/the Mauler YT. If you want to go take a look. But anyway, I was talking with Cal and said, do you want to hang out with us and watch Prophecy Girl? And he said, of course I do. And then we were, yesterday I was on Twitter. I've been rewatching, I've actually been doing a binge again and watching the whole show from scratch. I'm on, I finished Innocence, which, God, that one's good. And I started to think, wouldn't it be kind of cool to be able to watch these and sort of watch and share with you guys? So here we are. So we're just going to be gabbing. Think of it not as a bad decision live stream, more as a moderately unsuggested decision live stream.
I like that.
Also, wait, William Ford said it'd be weird to talk about something without a scathing tone. I am gonna do something positive on my channel because, as far as everyone knows, I've not reviewed anything positively. And I don't like anything. It's like, no, I swear to God. We were just talking about Civil War. That's probably gonna be the first thing I cover positively to try and explain that I do think you can do things well. I don't think everything's horrible.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking about when we came in with CinemaSins, like you don't want to build. I would find it exhausting. We've talked about this, but just to sort of share it openly, like in the first season of Buffy, there are critics that sort of delight in the massacre reviews. You know, the Roger Ebert did, I think it was Wet Hot American Summer. His review of Wet Hot American Summer is a limerick. That's the whole review, or it's a dirty song or something like that. He didn't even bother to give it a review. And it seems like some of the negative reviews become more successful or popular, and people become more known for them. And I always felt bad because when I dumped on I, Robot You, Jane, and the Puppet Show, which I watched again and actually enjoyed this time through, I gained an enjoyment for that one. But when I did, the thing I discovered is every time you dump on an episode, there are people who are in your community who you talk to and get along with, and they're always like, I really like that one.
Yeah, yes, exactly that.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, I covered, The Last Jedi, and I had brief comments here and there about the prequels, and there's so many comments every time, like, do you hate them? Do you actually hate them? Why do you hate them? What's wrong with the prequels? And I'm like, what do you mean what's wrong with the prequels? Why?
I don't care. I will say it. The prequels are awful, and you can fight me.
I got recommended the channel Cinema Wins, which is the reverse, obviously, of Sins. But he's done the one they recommended was episode 3. I watched it, and it felt so awful because I was like, oh no, I don't agree with a lot of this stuff, but he's so nice about everything. I don't want to.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, this thing is cool. I'm having fun. And I'm like, that's.
I can I can sort of enjoy Revenge of the Sith, but if you removed the whole Anakin turning evil thing, it would be absolute boring garbage.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
What's amazing is that lightsaber sequence that goes on for 45 minutes is insane.
Oh
It's
God.
stunning. It's gorgeous, and it's so boring.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it looks great, but it's like, hurry up.
Yeah.
I watched this. You know that scene where they're floating on those platforms. I can't remember who it was, but I saw a video where they compared that to the loading screen on a fighting game, and I'm like, yes, that's it. Like the character select screen looks exactly like it.
yeah, there's so much, and funnily enough, H Bomber Guy is planning a prequel defense video to prove that the films are great or whatever. And
Oh
one of his
God.
top reasons, because I heard a stream that he was in, he said one of the biggest reasons is that everyone's misinterpreted and thought that the Jedi were incompetent, rather than it's actually on purpose to show the this rotting society and how it's going to be destroyed and taken over by a new power. And I was like, that doesn't solve the fact that so many of them are characterless, just
Yeah.
boring, and slinking around like, I guess we're Jedi. I don't know. It's just like, come on, like you can still do that. But it's the whole theme argument where it's like the film isn't bad because it all means this, and this meaning is beyond any kind of plot criticism. And I'm always like, no, you can have both be good. It's like,
One
if
of
you
the
just-
biggest problems for me is their dialogue. It's so cardboard, and that's
yeah, I think that's the worst part of the prequels.
Yeah.
and that's what happens when you give George Lucas full control, and he surrounds himself with a bunch of yes men who won't challenge him. You get the
I mean,
prequels.
So hold on. Guy R in chat said something that I just wanted to highlight. He says, "I honestly feel kind of bad for criticizing the prequels. Like, yeah, they're terrible, but I don't like kicking something when it's down."
Guy, I love you.
I mean,
Guy is amazing.
we could go on and on about the prequels.
I got accused of
but
going
at
for an
least
easy
it led
target
to
with the
good
Last
memes.
Jedi.
That's true, Frost.
What'd you say? Kyle?
Sorry.
I got
What was
accused of
that?
going for an easy target with the Last Jedi. They're like, you only covered it because it's easy to criticize. And I was like, do you know how many people love this film? I was like, have you,
Yeah,
you missed out on that?
It's pretty. By the way, do you guys have your copies of Prophecy Girl queued up?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
ready to go.
How long is both your episodes? What's the time code on it?
44, 46.
Let me check.
That is the
Mine
same for me.
is 44, 46, yeah.
Omar,
Yeah,
yes,
good stuff.
I am losing weight. That just calorie counting and drinking less, which is sad and depressing, but it is what it is.
By the way, hello chat, hello Frost, hello Audrey, hello Pandian.
Yeah, and Audrey said,
Hello Guy.
I lost it, but Audrey had something to say about your voice, Jack, and you have a sexy voice, and when are you narrating things?
My voice.
Yes.
I sound like a male version of Fran Fine. Like, what are you talking about?
I just want to suggest that we admit Jack to the Sexy Man Voice Club. All in favor, aye.
Nay,
Aye.
nay, nay.
The ayes have it. All right, let's watch the episode. I'm going to go back
right.
to the start.
Is it? Are we pausing it all, or are we just going to let it run?
You can call it. Well, see, here's the thing. So, everyone, there's not an easy way for the. First of all, Jack is in Australia.
G'day, mate.
Cal is in the UK, and I'm in the middle of the United States. All
I
of this,
thought you were about to say I'm in the Middle East. I'm like, what?
all of this technology just so we can get together and watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're living in the future.
Hooray for the internet.
I love that.
So beautiful.
Just occasionally to think of all of the giants that have gone before, the shoulders that we are standing on for this evening, so that I can drink bullet bourbon and have a conversation with the three of you about a show that's been off the air 16 years.
Oh, I wish. Like the idea of it getting a reboot. I shudder to think. It's like just don't stay away from
Yeah,
Buffy. Kill
well,
everything else if you have to.
I don't like at this point. I don't know that Whedon could.
Yeah.
Recapture it.
Well,
like some things
so,
are just a flame, a flame in time.
You pointed it out yourself, but there's some stuff where I'm watching it with my friends and they're like, "Whoa! Like, how do they get away with that? Like, the use of some words that are just don't work nowadays."
Yeah,
Like, they say retard several times in
Yeah.
Angel Season 1. So it's
yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about when I get to season 6 is they used the word bitch a lot in that season. And granted,
Sure.
the trio are supposed to be, sort of representations of toxic geek masculinity.
I suppose Warren certainly is, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially with the
Definitely.
murdering
Well,
stuff.
they all. There's a wonderful. Well, I follow one of the Red Dwarf writers, and he did a wonderful Twitter rant about why he loves the trio as a representation of the ugly side of male geek culture. And I'm definitely going to include it in the reviews when we get there. But all three of them are sort of scorned or insecure in certain ways,
Right.
dealing with their own
Yeah.
sexuality and doing so by blaming either women or someone else.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a wonderful take.
I was gonna say, like, I remember first watching. I don't know how old I would have been. Season 6 is like 2002, is it?
Yeah, around then.
That would have been 9. Bloody hell! Why was I allowed to watch that when I was 9? Whatever. So the scene where they're all playing with their sex slave, lol lol lol, ha ha ha. I remember
yeah,
watching that as a kid
That's an
and
incredible
being like,
scene.
yeah, I was like, this is so silly. Oh, this is just silly. And then when the real shit happens, I was like, oh god.
They got me.
Yeah.
They got me. Those three guys are such funny actors. Some of the humor decays into Bazinga from time to time, but the three of them are so charismatic and fun to watch that even by that scene, I didn't get it. But the second she says it's rape,
Yeah.
it's a stunning
It
moment.
slices the
It's-
atmosphere in half. It's just dead.
Yeah. It's
So
so visceral. It's so visceral.
Yeah. That is that the season hinges in some ways on that moment.
Yeah, and it just sort of knocks the wind out of you. It's like,
they'd already-
wow, okay.
Have they killed anybody up to that point? Like they froze the guard, right? I don't know if he died from that.
They
I don't-
froze the guy. They thought him out. I think it was on a news
Yeah.
story later.
Yeah, I don't
I was gonna
think he
say, like,
died.
they haven't crossed a significant line yet, as far as I know.
Well, Warren did tell his original sex bot to kill Buffy, by way of
Oh, yeah.
saying that he was in love with her.
Right, yeah, that was like more of a character reveal, like he's a piece of shit, and it
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean, it's still a bad move, but it's not quite as blatant, I guess is the word.
Well, let's go ahead and fire it up. If you,
I was gonna say, if you want to pause, we can always you can say like, oh, I'm at, and then time code,
Yeah,
and then we can
time
just
code.
resync.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to do this at some point. If I was thinking maybe if I don't know how to keep the three of us in sync, London, Australia, and the States. So
He's not in London.
Not London, no. I apologize.
Oh, it may as well be time zone wise, but we'll be in sync anyway. As long as you say 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
start up.
count us in.
And you guys will see. I don't know if it looks like you're both logged into chat, so you guys will see in chat where I am.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
can sort of follow along there as well.
Yeah.
I really need to work on my live streaming a little bit. Look at that sweet green screen. By the way, everyone, I was showing. This was given to me at a last year's Comic-Con. It's Willow was wearing a sweatshirt in the Freshman that said the hysteric woman, and someone made this for me, and I wear it all the time, even though it's a little snug for my jelly belly.
Yeah, I remember you explained the whole origin of it, and I was like, he got that from a T-shirt. Nice details.
The green screen makes it look like it's like made out of silk or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what the thing is. All I have is a Philips Hue light over my head. If I'm going to keep doing this, which I am because I'm enjoying the live stream, I need to actually get a light kit for the front so that I don't have the light bouncing off of my balding head the entire time, and then it's just sort of like dark and saturated in front.
Dude, you
Sorry,
should go
something I
and
really
put
wanted
on
to
a
ask
green
you.
shirt again.
Because I'd just gone through the episode and I completely forgotten about it. I've even forgotten the name. You know the one where Angel has to be a bodyguard for like a star?
Yeah,
in
that's in
season
from
one.
season one.
Do you think that's a good episode?
No.
Wait,
Thank
a bodyguard
God.
for who?
Because I could have sworn when I was watching your Angel guide, the latest one, you said like it's all uphill from here or something. I was like,
Well,
you haven't done that one yet.
everything is uphill from She. Someone, I think it was Guy,
True.
mentioned that no,
Oh, we
there's
talked about
clunkers
She.
coming. I'm like, no. everything's uphill from she. It doesn't mean it's a continuous uphill. It means everything is up from this episode.
Right. So
what-
one thing that happened was I was watching it with my friend, and when Angelus popped up, he was like, "Oh my god, he's released just like that! Is that going to be the season
I
arc?"
hate
And I was
that. I
like,
hate that episode.
and I was like, I had to explain to him. I was like, "No, it's a pill that temporarily makes him Angelus."
It's just like there's so like, so drugs are actual happiness, or like is
Yeah, I don't. It's so
Is
confusing.
the soul is the soul magic? Is it spiritual? If actual happiness can be biologically introduced, then is the soul in his DNA? Like, it just makes no sense.
Well, it doesn't,
and then
because it's like the act of pure happiness should cause him to lose his soul, not wear off once the drugs wear off. You know, like that doesn't make sense.
Down Under the Sun asks, how are you liking Uncharted: The Lost Legacy so far? It's okay. Uncharted 4 is now one of my top 10 games of all time, and so I was hoping the DLC would be more like the Last of Us DLC, where you do the prequel in the mall. But it's okay. I'm enjoying it. More Last of Us is never a bad thing. Well, let's go ahead and fire it up. You guys ready? I'm going to count down. 3, 2, 1, play.
Do you consider this the best of the season?
Season 1. Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
do,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
It's still kind of dissonant, but the chemistry is there, and it has a scene that is from a season way better than.
Yeah, I was gonna say
love her
I
smitten
base
look.
it on the one season, the one scene. Sorry, my love for this episode. There's other stuff I like, but that scene makes it.
Are you talking
yeah.
about the I'm 16 years old, I don't want to die?
It's
Yeah.
somehow, like I just said, from a different scene. It makes it into top scenes from Buffy.
Yeah.
That's from season 1. It's like, huh.
Well, for me, it's the scene where the show broke through emotionally. Where,
Yeah,
like, so
I'd agree with that.
you've always had the metaphor and you've always had the fiction, and they sort of run in parallel to each other. And in that scene, everything syncs up kind of perfectly. Where this sort of fantasy of this, magical demon fighting girl becomes a real person with consequences and stakes, and I think that was missing until that moment.
Yeah, definitely.
I
It was,
love this shot.
looks painful.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
but this is
Yeah.
the cuts between slow motion and the editing here. You can there's nothing like a Whedon episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, when you look at all the ones he had control over, you're like, oh, that explains that then.
Yeah, they're like a completely different tier.
What would be your major concern if he was to try and do Buffy again from the ground up? Do you think it's the lack of actors availability or writing?
Well, the fact he couldn't... Sorry, go.
Good. No, you go ahead, Jack. You go. I'll follow up.
I was just gonna say, he wouldn't be able to use characters like Angel and Spike because they've aged,
Right.
and they're not meant to age. So
Well, it would
that
have to be a total
downfall.
reboot, not.
I was about to
Yeah.
say,
continuation.
we're assuming it would be all new actors,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
aside from maybe a reference, you know? Have Giles be the bookkeeper in some ancient place. Just some whatever.
What?
Ian, you've talked about a Ripper series before, which that
Oh my
would be.
god. I want that so much.
Yeah,
me too.
that would be amazing.
They can still make it work. Have a young actor and Giles can commentate.
A Ripper series
Yeah, flashbacks.
is not Buffy. It's like it is, but it's something different with new characters and it's a
Same universe, which is the biggest plus, I think.
right, and it's not tethered to the metaphor. And like so much of the show is based around the specific, concise stages of Buffy's life. So here's what she's like at this point in her life, and here's what the monster, the big bad, is a metaphor for that she needs to accept. Okay, we did that. Now what's the next one? And the problem is they've done those stories. I'm not saying that adolescence is fixed for everyone, but they did a pretty good job of covering so many of the struggles And if the show were not as based in theme as it was originally, I don't think it would be anywhere close to what it is now.
Right.
And that's the thing that would worry me about a reboot, even if he were handling it. Also,
I just couldn't see myself getting to attach with it properly. I'd have too much like comparing.
Yeah, and I think like you can't recapture this show's vibe. It's like any kind of reboot would be trying to capitalize on the show's legacy, and I just can't see that working in any fashion.
This is the thing for me. It's like, as much as I have the perfect idea in my head of like what we could do, it's like, it's not gonna happen. Just leave it alone. Don't even try.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Do something new.
Yes, I'd be on board with that.
Like, it is precious to me. So is Star Trek: The Next Generation, and every iteration of Star Trek since, I've been like, like, I don't want to see that happen with Buffy. I don't want to see the Star Trek discovery of Buffy.
Do you plan on covering that?
Next Generation or?
Oh, the new stuff, because I've heard a lot of people ask me to cover it. They were like, "You did Star Wars, do that?" I was like, "I don't watch Star Trek."
When I get to doing Next Generation, like we were talking about, if I want to try and do full time by the end of the year, I've got to do more Why You Should Watch. So there's a Why You Should Watch Next Generation in the future. I could do like a TV review of.
And if you make it good enough, I'll consider watching it.
All right.
Because so many people have asked me to watch Star Trek, and I just get put off all the time.
Well, the first
season's really old.
So hard to get through.
I started
will force it if you can convince me it's good.
I kind of fell off the wagon, but I'll get back on it.
It's getting hairy out there. Oop,
what's your assessment of the intro for Buffy, by the way? Song mainly, rather than anything else.
I hated it when I first watched the show, but then the show became so precious to me that it grew on me. I mean, it was an acquired taste, but I find it comforting now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love it, but I think Angels is so much better.
There's no competition.
That cello, man. Yeah.
The thing for me, so the latest person I was putting through Buffy actually had a comment. They were like, they think that the intro song matches season 1, but he hasn't felt it's matched any season since. I was like, I haven't really thought about it that way.
In terms of Whedon? Wait, say that again?
Sorry?
No.
The friend I'm watching with now said that he wasn't too fond of the intro, but he thought it matched season 1 because the show was so, like, off the wall. Like, what's going to happen next? Vampire in school? A werewolf in the school? Who knows? And he was like, season 2 is so much more emotional. And then when he hit season 3, he was like, do they never change this intro? Seriously? And I was like, no.
Sorry, Guy, I disagree, man. I disagree.
Well, I'm reading chat, and I know, chat, thank you, that I am in the minority when it comes to Buffy's theme. I do love it now, but it's just not originally. It's still not a piece of music I would listen to. Which I guess
can put up with it at all times, aside from the one episode, which is probably pretty obvious which episode I think is just completely fucking inappropriate.
Normal again? Oh, wait.
Oh.
Is it in the body?
Yes, and it frustrates me that it's in
the body? Wow.
Seriously, I tell people to, when I'm watching it with them, right, because you see the opening scene again from the previous episode, I tell them to skip that and the intro. We go to a specific timestamp and then hit play. Very serious. I don't like people having to see that stupid intro when the body's about to play.
It's funny, I've watched many videos on YouTube of people having just watched that episode. And well, hold on, I love this scene.
I want you to go to the dance with me.
Okay.
On a date.
Oh, Xander, buddy.
He did it. He put it out there, right? Like, that's what you do.
Oh, but my heart is bleeding for him right now.
Oh, this is a seriously realistic piece of dialogue, this whole scene.
It's so grounded.
Dude, I'm having flashbacks. This is awful.
I want more.
I've definitely had this conversation. Unfortunately,
Xander, you're one of my best friends.
Oh.
Well, Willow's not looking to date you.
Well, yeah, give her 4 years.
She's playing it pretty close.
I don't want to spoil the friendship that we have.
I don't want to spoil it either.
Who says it has to? Just say no.
You either feel a thing or you don't.
Xander, stop, please.
I don't.
I think everything up to this point
I don't.
is reasonable.
Yeah.
Xander, I'm
This is
sorry.
where you go, okay, well, I'm going to need a bit, and then you walk away.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know?
abort.
Well, it's okay. You, like, bail out. Just say you need a bit.
Forget it.
Yeah, Buffy handles this really
Which
well
is
too.
fair
She does
enough.
wonder, yeah.
Yeah, she does. She isn't mean or anything. She doesn't laugh in his face, which happened to me once back in school.
That shot right there, I guess a guy's got to be undead to make time with you. That's really harsh. She does it perfectly.
Considering all the practice I've had, huh?
Xander, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
come on,
You know
Xander.
what?
You're being a bit of a bitch now.
I wonder if 90s fashion will come back. I love his outfits.
Oh, it always does, man. Everything always comes full circle.
I don't see mullets coming back personally, but maybe.
Oh, God, no.
Jinko,
God, no.
Jinko jeans and wallet chains.
Mullets is
Wallet
something
chains.
that
Friends
should
of mine
stay
still
dead.
have wallet chains.
Well, maybe that's the thing in the States that's just kind of left with ska.
In your parts of the world, were rat's tails a big thing in the 90s? You know, the little strand of hair at the back of the head?
That was 80s for us.
Oh, here it was like early to mid 90s, but I was born in '87, so maybe I just didn't see it.
Probably up to socializing just now.
Yeah, sorry. In closing about the intro, though, I don't think it matters too much. Even if you hate it, it's not that much of a thing that gets in the way. Like I said, there's only the one time that I'd consider it sort of a bit off. But
Yeah.
even if it's a bad intro, I can get over it. 'Cause it's just like, all right, now we start the
You would
episode.
think in the body they could figure out a way around it, like
I thought he'd have the power to knock it out.
or
Like, as crazy as that would
or
be.
to layer underneath it the audio from the dinner, like the Christmas dinner. He could have let that run long as the credits played over the top of it. But
Maybe.
I think he was. He says in that episode has commentary, and he says in that commentary that the only reason the Christmas scene exists is because they are contractually obligated to have the credit roll.
If I can trust you.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah,
he didn't
it
want
was
to
a way
put
around.
he didn't want to put credits on Joyce's face. So
Right.
he wrote the Christmas scene as a way of filling out that 30 seconds that the post credits roll.
And
goes.
you know what?
Yeah.
I congratulate him for that because that scene is another knife in the heart throughout that whole episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, that killed some of my friends watching it. They were just like, why
The
is
body,
this
to
happening?
me, it's art. It's pure art.
Yeah, and when you get to that was the episode that I got to, that I was suddenly frustrated. Like,
I'll get everything tonight after practice.
God
The guys will help.
damn it! I can't share this moment with any of my friends because none of them have watched the show, and it won't mean
Yeah.
anything unless you've
Yeah.
watched 5.5 seasons of it. It's still good.
Oh my god.
in
Ian,
and of
have you seen the
itself.
video that says the top 3 episodes to show your friends of Buffy on YouTube?
Is
It's
that
really popular.
in there?
The three suggestions are Once More with Feeling, which is a really bad choice.
That's terrible.
Hush, which again, there's so much in that episode that won't make any sense.
Yeah.
The third one is The Body.
The Body is the worst episode to show them.
It's
Holy cow.
bizarre. People have asked me
See,
what
the
the best
prob-
episode is. I was like, there's not many at all. It doesn't work that way with Buffy.
Hi, Deb. Deb, well, you have me and this community. Go ahead, Jack.
I just don't think like those are 3 great episodes, but they don't encapsulate what the show is about to me. Like I don't know. I don't think they're good ones to show people off the bat.
By the way, if you're just joining us, welcome. I'm in here with Mauler93, Jack, you know Jack, and we're watching
friends.
Prophecy Girl. It's not a bad
I want to
decision.
find that video now.
It's not a bad decisions live stream. It's more of a mediocre decisions live stream.
70 viewers, Ian.
We can go.
I love this scene
Does it
too.
go so
This
much-
is Willow is not the scenes where she's assertive.
No.
No.
Good.
Oh, she's great in this.
What?
Yeah.
Do you think I want to be there and watch you lusting after her?
Willow, come on.
You think I want to go?
It's still not as good as her Parker bitch slap.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, in the first season, like that's Willow's sort of
I'm sorry.
most shaky confidence by far.
hmm
So
Yes.
the moments where she asserts herself really stand out, and I love.
That's okay.
Aurora says, "I found the
I
alcohol.
wanna
Good
know.
deal. Welcome." One of us.
One of us,
um,
sort of.
But Ian, I assume your favorite, 'cause you reference it all the time, is the one where she outwits Xander as a hyena, right? Or one of your
In the
favorites.
first season, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's so crafty. The look on her face as she's like seemingly being seduced by his. Please, Willow, we've known each other so
Yeah.
long, and then she backs up, smiles, and says, "Now I know." It's like a gotcha. I love that.
And I feel like
I love that. It's not a
those
great
scenes-
episode, but I love that bit.
Plus all the ones where she like bites at people selectively. I feel like it sort of pays off with Giles criticizing her in season 6, and she tells him that he should
Yeah.
probably be afraid of her.
Well, her arc is so well built up.
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorites easily, along with Wesley.
Yeah, I've been
Oh,
trying.
Wesley.
I've been trying.
Wesley is hands down the best. Sorry, Ian.
No, all good. This medium lends itself to us interrupting each other from time to time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hold on. We might need a moment of silence.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
God, I were. But it's very plain. Tomorrow night, Buffy will face the Master, and she will die.
You'll definitely get hit with a copyright for this, though.
Yeah. Well, so
God.
far all they do is take the video offline, which I'm kind of okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I know what's coming. Oh. Hold me.
I see a Boris. Those would all be a possibility, yeah.
So that's it, huh? I remember the drill. One Slayer dies, next one's called. And who she is.
It's like a stratospheric leap forward in her acting, and Anthony Stewart Head does so much without
You trade
saying anything.
Or
Yeah.
will I send someone else?
Buffy,
To say how he's gonna kill me?
He's so damned handsome.
It'll hurt.
That's the bit that gets me.
That's
Do
the
you
one.
think it'll hurt?
That's the one.
Do you think it'll hurt? Like, oh, you poor girl.
You ain't gonna tell me?
You weren't gonna tell me?
have to, but there's some way around it.
I've got a way around it. I quit.
It's not that simple.
Oh
I'm
man.
making it that simple. I quit. I resign. I'm fired. You can find someone else to stop the Master from taking over.
I'm not sure that anyone else can. All the signs indicate.
Signs? Read me the signs! Tell me my fortune! You're so useful sitting here with all of your books!
God,
You're
she is
really
amazing
allowed.
in this scene.
I don't suppose I am.
I know this is hard.
You know about this. You're never gonna die.
That's such a.
Nothing happened.
It's such a poor line. I know this is hard. No, you.
That happens. That's almost a trope, right?
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah,
saying, "I
definitely.
understand." You don't understand.
The bad boyfriend
It's-
consolation
it-
line.
It's also kind of the thing you say when you don't know what else to say.
Yeah, you got nothing to say.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this scene is, isn't it?
16 years old.
Yeah.
I don't want to die.
I don't wanna die.
Hey, we did it in sync,
Oh!
Jack. High five.
I
Wonder
high
if
five, brother.
wonder if there were multiple takes, because that take is perfect.
That's still one of my favorite scenes of hers in the whole series.
And it's
I'd agree with that.
definitely, in my opinion, it's the first scene, well, the first moment in the entire series where I was just like, ouch, like, wow, my feelings, ouch.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what comes
There's
close.
nothing before this.
Oh,
Wait,
her scene in The Gift when she's sitting in the chair with Giles and describes,
Oh, yeah.
"I killed Angel. I loved him so much, but I knew it
Yeah.
was right. I don't have that now." That scene is incredible, and I think it's one
Yeah.
take as the camera pans around her.
Yeah.
what always
But-
gets me is
but-
the Go ahead.
Sorry, go. No, you're right, go on.
I was just gonna, because mine's kind of off topic, so you go first.
Oh, well, yeah, I just mean, like, up until, like, this point, I don't think there's been anything in season 1 that effective. Like,
Oh no, that's
to me, that was the first one.
that's
Yeah.
a breakthrough moment.
Yeah.
In the show, definitely.
Yeah.
So, just Jack, out of curiosity, did you watch this when it came out, or did you find it later?
Yeah, I started watching it when it first aired, so I was like 10, 11 years
Yeah,
old,
that's the
and
same for me. So I went through season 1, 2, 3, whatever, just because there was no. I don't even remember if this was something that hooked me. I was just like, no, this is a cool show. Kill vampires.
yeah,
Woo.
I can't remember either. I just guarantee you that I would have cried. I guarantee it.
I have a strong memory as a kid of thinking the body was where I was like, oh my god, what the hell's going on? I feel like I'm too young to be watching this. Like this is
Yeah, the body's yeah, that one's brutal.
because
Yeah,
like everything else up to that point seemed like it sort of fits, if that makes any sense for the.
What's weird is I tell people that the body is one of the best episodes of any television show ever made, but it's
I argue that.
also not a good Buffy episode.
well, no, it doesn't.
Like it doesn't have in terms of the structure and what. That's why it's a horrible example of what you
Never
should
watch that out of sequence. You ruin the whole point of it, really.
Yeah, and it's a terrible example of getting people into the show. No other
Oh, yeah,
episode in the show feels like that episode. Flavor is different. The shots are different. There's no music. It's so different.
Being
there's
embedded
no,
into the show up to
like-
that point is additionally what makes it so impactful, I'd say.
Yeah, that was kind of an important moment for me in terms of media consumption because I saw that episode and just sat in stunned silence for about a half hour afterwards, and it was like, this is something that is unique to television. This experience of getting to know a character for 5 seasons and having the ups and downs with them and
Yeah.
then having that kind of experience. Like there are deaths in movies that I don't know that have affected me to the degree that that episode did.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, it's it would be top for me. I don't think I've ever experienced such grief. I think would be the word, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like,
There's been other shows that come close and everything, but nothing that powerful.
yeah, and Buffy, like one of the things it's known for is its humor, and that episode, except for when Xander punches the wall, it's not all that humorous, and it's not meant to be.
No,
And
it's
so.
yeah.
It's not a good example of what Buffy is, as good as it is, you know.
I always
You
felt
said,
like this scene still doesn't make any sense to me. Like
Like, how did it happen?
Well, no, they need. It's so out of context. Cordelia hasn't really been in this episode, and then
Yeah.
what are they doing? And I love the visual metaphor I missed in the guide is the bloody hand on the cartoon.
Yeah.
Adulthood and childhood sort of running against each other.
Oh, yeah, and Willow
It's to raise the
actually-
stakes, though, isn't it? And to push Buffy to her.
Well, Willow needs to have a emotional breakdown in order to show Buffy that she needs to do what she needs to do. And that scene doesn't do it for me. I didn't feel like it was properly set up. It's my main
Yeah, I'd agree.
my main issue with this. Maybe
And
this should have been a
from-
two-parter. I don't know.
And from a visual standpoint, that scene is probably one of the goriest, I think.
It is one of the
Like this
worst.
season, possibly.
Yeah,
To explain it so you understand.
It doesn't matter.
yeah. This is what she says here.
It wasn't our world anymore. They made it ours.
Yeah.
Theirs.
Yeah. And what you said about the handprint on the TV sort of made me think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I missed the handprint in the guide. That always pissed me off. I saw it on a rewatch. I was like, "Oh, that's."
You could do like
metaphor.
you could do a
I
video
think-
of like missed opportunities or something. Talk
Uh,
about more stuff.
yeah, that's come up a few times because there's lots of little details like that I wanted to mention.
Do a little addendum.
Yeah, like a retrospective.
There's no way you can cover everything in Buffy and Angel put
Oh,
together.
no.
It's just
No,
not going to happen.
Mark and I have talked about that a few times. Mark, the guy who wrote the book that started the channel, he and I email a little bit every time I put up a new episode, and
I like your dress.
he has told. I've complained several times, like, "Oh, I screwed up this part, or I missed this, or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I edited." His stuff originally went up on a blog. I should know the name of his blog. Mark, if you're watching, I'm sorry. All Things Philosophical? No, that's Buffy. Well, the name of Mark's book is Myth, Metaphor, and Morality in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But anyway, we've talked about how every time he realized he missed something or wanted to rewrite something, he could just modify the blog. I can't do that with a video.
Oh, and I told you about this, but I was just thinking about villains because of the Master. The recent person I went through it didn't like the mayor, and I was like, no, I didn't want to find anybody who didn't like the mayor.
Sacrilege, man. He's my second favorite, second to only and Jealous.
He's my favorite.
Oh,
I adore the mayor.
I
can't get enough of his scenes.
I was neutral to him on the first time through.
Reasons.
Yeah, I was neutral to him on the first time through, but the second time through while writing the guide, it's amazing how much writing about the show changes my opinion of episodes.
Yeah.
But the relationship with Faith, I always felt he was kind of not really built up, but he is built up in proximity to Faith. And
yeah, like his character is built with every scene that he has with her.
Every scene he has with her is kind of gorgeous, and like the diving scene where he's leaning over the Euthros box, and she says, "I was the only one who would do it."
What's his name?
Great
Harry
scene.
Groner, I think.
Harry Groner, yeah.
And I feel like the show put their effort in to make it absolutely non-sexual from the first scene they're together properly.
Well,
you know?
yeah, she
they were
flirted.
like, it's not.
Well, she, of course, Faith being Faith, tried. He gave her the apartment, and she says, "Thanks, Daddy." And Faith, now, I'm a family man. None of that.
Yeah, he cuts it out completely.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, oh, it's set. Then this relationship, I can actually think about it in a way that's genuine. It's not sexual whatsoever.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't really made that how important that
but like
line
the
was.
payoff for me is just the one in the hospital. Like, I genuinely feel sad for him that he has to watch her in a coma. I was just like, what have you done to me, show?
I don't care what the books say. I defy prophecy, and I'm going.
This is Giles' knockout counter number 4.
I was just about to say that.
The next knockout counter I need to make up for like 3 or 4 I've missed.
By the way, I totally recommend watching the entire show with new people as much as you can. It's the most fascinating experience ever. Every single one of them has said the main reason they liked season 1 was Giles, by the way. I don't know if that's a commonly accepted thing.
Oh, I can see that. I can see.
Yeah. I love Snyder, but he's not in enough.
Great.
He's not in enough to be a motivating factor to watch. So
he has some
Giles.
great lines.
He has so many.
Like a spaz. That's my favorite.
Why couldn't you be dealing drugs like normal children?
Normal children. Kids.
Oh, that's a great one, too.
I don't like him.
I always thought it was weird that Snyder knows that Sunnydale is on a hellmouth, but it never goes anywhere. Like it.
Well, he gets eaten.
Well, yeah, but like, it just seemed like they were setting something up there, but then nothing happened with it.
Well, that's a weird aspect. That is one of the weird aspects to the show. Is the lore is not built out in ways that you would think it would be. The comics have done a lot to do that. But
the Anointed one is actually a great example of that. It was there was a lot of misdirection there in the episode that he's introduced.
It was such a red herring, and what episode? Never Kill a Boy on the First Date.
Yeah.
It was I hate that Southern guy. So are you prepared to stand with the righteous?
Oh God.
I hate that guy so much. Dead.
Oh, dude.
He hits the guy.
The friend I went with recently was at the end was like, "Wait, so it was the kid the whole time?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why does that matter?" I don't know.
It doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't. I don't know.
It's one of those twists where it's like, oh.
I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why.
It's so unclear what the Anointed even does. He's just like, he's just there. I don't know.
Yeah, that happens so many. Like Riley is a symbol. That's I'm the video that I have to edit tomorrow. Goodbye, Iowa. The main issue is he was brought in to be a symbol, and once that symbol has kind of played its role, sometimes they don't know what to do with them. You know.
Oh, he criticized it heavily. He was like, "There's no point in him," and I was like, "No, he was said to bring Buffy to her."
Right, and he's an immortal
and
child.
he did that.
And that's,
I mean, this is a little irrelevant, but I got to say the guy that plays him, Andrew J. Furchland, I think he's a really nice guy. I talk to him on Twitter sometimes. He's really nice.
Yeah, that is his claim to fame.
And he follows me on Twitter.
Do you want to know a funnier one than that? The third episode in the prequels. Do you know the kid that talks to Anakin before he kills all the kids?
Oh yeah.
A friend of his like had a post where he was talking about something, and then it let slip that he knows the guy who was the kid in that scene, and then he did an AMA publicly, and it was so funny, all the memes, and he was like, yeah, for his whole life, everyone's just constantly saying stuff like, what are we going to do? Shut up.
That's got to be the worst. I feel really bad for the guy who played Anakin in the first movie.
Jake Lloyd, yeah.
Oh.
He decided Star Wars was ruining his life, didn't he?
Well, he was like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is hard to talk about that in a definitive manner, but there are kid actors, Stranger Things will show you, that can fucking nail it, I guess.
Exactly. Or the kid from The Sixth Sense. He was great.
Well,
sure. Yeah.
What's crazy is, first of all, I think Haley Joel Osment auditioned for Anakin, but there's the Phantom Menace DVDs are loaded with special content. There's like an hour and a half behind the scenes making of it, including they show several auditions for Anakin, and one kid is stunning. This one kid just nails the audition. He's so good. And then they bring Jake Lloyd in, and Jake Lloyd sucks. And they cut to a shot of George Lucas, and Lucas says, "Man, doesn't he just look like a young Mark Hamill?" And
God!
And that's why Jake Lloyd got cast.
I
don't know.
See, that is what happens when you put George Lucas in charge of everything.
He needs to be tempered. He's not horrible entirely. He has some interesting. I think the prequels could have been good if you had someone to control him. Get his raw ideas, and then have someone knock out a good script out of it.
Yeah,
well,
he needed Lawrence Kasdan.
Not have him direct.
You're all worthless and weak.
I'm okay with that too.
I gotta say though, when I was a kid watching this, the Master really freaked me out.
Upon rewatching, I was just like, I forgot how much he jokes around. He's quite jokey, and like I told Ian before, I was like, he reminds me of Ultron, and it's kind of the same problem for me.
Yeah, he's a little like Ultron.
I wish that there was more. I wanted more intimidation, less jokes.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's down to everybody how you feel about it all, really. But like, by the way, him killing the fucking Warriors of 3. Why? Why did he kill them? Just they failed. Go again. Go till you die. Why?
The first two I think I highlighted this in the Order of Taraka in season 2, where it's.
I like that episode.
Just kind of. Well, I like that episode, but the formula was already wearing thin at that point. I need to get the Slayer. I will bring about the Order of Carillius. Like they just pull something out of their butts, and you're supposed to be nervous or intimidated by it, and
well, Giles is like, you have to leave the country potentially, and it's like,
because of the Order of Taraka. Yeah,
the bug guy is crap. Like, I can't believe he kills anybody. He's killed by like paint. I was like, oh my god.
Boris says,
can you picture like a horror movie where he runs up to people and then spills himself all over them, and they're just like, bah! I'll be like, oh, that could work. But no, he waits until they close doors on him, and then he tries to slowly slither through them. I was just like, how does this? If they had continued running to like the parking lot or whatever, he would have eventually reformed on the other side of the door and been like, right. Where are they?
Guy says Ultron is so lovely, though. I actually agree, Guy. I like Ultron. I didn't ever. That wasn't my problem with the Master.
I didn't quite understand the hate that movie got. I thought it was okay.
Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
That takes a lot of discussion, I'd say.
Yeah,
but Ultron to me is partially a problem.
That's because it's
this is
so
someone who builds Joss Whedon's work.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't great, but I still enjoyed it.
There were a lot of religious things that he was going for in that one.
Yeah.
And Thor in a pool.
Some fantastic dialogue in that film, though. I would take away from it.
Oh
yeah.
That's the thing, because I was going to mention earlier about Joss Whedon compared to like the prequels, for example. If I ever go into a Joss Whedon work, I'm like, well, I know I'm going to like the characters. They're probably going to talk some stuff that's going to keep me interested. Like the whole, you can have them sit in a room and talk, and it would be fine.
Yeah, it's a guarantee with Joss.
I didn't tweet this out. Oh.
He knows people, I guess. I don't
You guys
know.
want to do another one after this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm game. Definitely, man.
Dude, it's a sad realization, but I'm so starved for Buffy friends.
Yeah.
that I would,
Yeah,
I'd
me
keep
too.
getting
Like,
them.
I don't know anyone who likes Buffy except for
I got
you
plenty of
nerds.
Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad friends, but I'm just like, yeah. Well.
All right, hold on. I'll tweet it out. We'll
One of the most badass scenes is coming up when they're walking through like their courtyard and the theme song's playing. I love that. It's cheesy, but it's amazing.
I learned to love that as well.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. What do you think about the whole?
My problem the first time I was going through this was that everything is a letdown after that scene where she dies. It's not it's not bad. It's not bad, but that scene, not the scene where she dies, excuse me, the scene in the library is so emotionally resonant and lovely and engaging, and then it kind of becomes season 1 again, you know. And that's okay. That's why I say that.
By the way, Jack, I'd love to talk about Age of Ultron with you if you want, if you have time some other day, maybe. Because I love, like I said, I love the film, but there's so much with it that I think is problematic, would be the word, and I'd love to see what your take is on it.
Yeah,
but I was going to say, so the friend of mine who's very critically minded was like absolutely okay with going as far as the end of season 3 before deciding if he'd like to continue. I already won him by season 2, so it was fine. But season 1,
3. Who watches
that's
3 seasons of a show?
What?
It's my request to my friends. I'm like, you like me? You believe me? Watch until season 3 until you're allowed to say, okay, it's my choice if I want to continue. That's the deal I make with them. And they usually want it.
You know I love you, guy.
I want your friends because my closest friends.
Oh, they are patient people.
Still have not watched this except for Jess and Jack.
I typically say if you get to the end of season 2 and don't like it, you're not going to like it.
Yeah, I extended it by 1 season. That is very typical. I extended it by 1 just because I want to show like the May of Faith and a lot of season 3 episodes.
Well, yeah, I mean, season 6 is my favorite, but 3 is probably the most exciting and the most fun, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
Boris says, well, Ian, you did watch the first 3 seasons of Supernatural before you decided you liked it. That's true, but I'm a weird guy, Boris, with a lot of time on his hands.
I'm gonna reserve my opinions on Supernatural. Silence.
Hey,
I still haven't seen it except for one episode. I watched one episode years ago, and I only watched it because the ad I saw for it made it look really good. So I watched it, and it bored me. I didn't like it.
Audrey,
I didn't find it scary, and I'm a big horror fan. So.
Audrey said rude, Ian. Audrey, I don't. What did I do? I apologize. What did I do? I'm sorry.
Ian, you're such a sweetheart.
I suddenly reverted to all of my past relationships. I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry.
My longest-term good friend, when we first ever met each other, my favorite show was Buffy, his favorite show was Supernatural. We traded them. We loved them both together. It was all fantastic. And then recently, like 2 years ago, we rewatched Buffy, and it was all good. We rewatched Supernatural, and oh my god, it was like a funeral. I was staying quiet, and he was like, I remember this being better. And I was like,
That's the friend who's like, I thought this was good.
It was so weird. Yeah, like, and this is what I mean. I don't want to piss anyone off, but this is coming from, I was working with someone who adored it since he was a kid, and he's ripping into so many problems with that show that I was just like, I feel like I'm just going to be quiet because this is like something that's close to his heart, and I was just like, I'm so sorry.
So, I have a bit of a confession to make. I saw the Buffy movie when I was really, really young. Like, I was really young, and I liked it. And it was part of the reason why I started watching the show. But in my defense, I was very young. And the last time I tried to watch the movie, I fell asleep. It was that bad.
Yeah, I watched
movie?
it.
Sorry,
and
I was in chat.
The Buffy movie.
Do you know what's really sad? I was excited to see it because Donald Sutherland was in it. I was like, oh, he'll save it for me.
Oh, God. Donnie! Donnie, no.
Apparently, he absolutely hated it or something, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jack, there may be an extended review on the internet describing some of the issues with the Buffy movie. Might want to
Yes,
look at
yes.
No, sorry. Yeah. There's a 15-minute featurette or a 5-minute featurette on that Blu-ray. It's such a pitiful Blu-ray, and
Right.
he says he has one bit. His interview shows up once, and he says, "I had so much trouble telling people that I was in a movie called Buffy the Vampire Slayer," and that's it. That's all he says in the whole behind-the-scenes interview of that.
See, how can you not love this? It's cheesy, but I just love it.
It grew on me.
So good. I'm
Yeah, no,
sorry
I
again,
approve.
guy. I'm sorry, man.
She doesn't kill this guy though. That's what my friend pointed out. He was like, "Is he gonna kill her?"
She just punched him,
okay.
I guess.
She just that vampire could have gone on to kill a bunch of kids, and it's all Buffy's fault.
And so this is the thing, right? Like when you're watching something that someone's fully recommended from their heart and stuff, you always want to take it easy with criticisms. But like my friend was watching this one, and I sold it as like, this is the best of the season. So you're in for some good shit.
It is the best of
And
season 1.
It is.
Yes, yeah. And he
But
was like,
that's not saying a lot.
right. And he was like, okay. So like at the end of the episode, he's like, okay, so why didn't the master kill her when he like, you know, like he bit her, but then he sort of gave up on it. He only drank it for like a second or so, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, why was she like paralyzed? You know, like she drowned?
Yeah,
Like
she
why couldn't
died.
she move? I was like, I don't know. She just
What I
died. Man.
say, what I would say is that he was just really keen to get out of there.
Sure, there's lots of things you can say, but he was just like, he's been really nice about it. He was like, so the master has superpowers. Like, does any other vampire have that? And I was like,
Dracula does.
like one.
Yeah.
Well,
Dracula,
Drusilla does
yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah, Drusilla does as well.
Hypnosis stuff.
And that,
And so I was
that
like-
big fat thing in the hot tub, Balthazar?
Is he a vampire?
I think. Oh no, he's not. Wait, no, I don't think he is. He looks
The
like
thing
one.
is, he was like, okay, cool. So what does it take to have those powers? And I was like,
Keystone. Thank you, Audrey.
He doesn't have any powers. He's just strong.
Kissing toast.
Ah,
Cookies toast.
okay.
Kissing toast, yeah.
Toast.
I have to say that to remember what character that is. That's hilarious. I'm like, wait,
Something about-
kissing toast. Oh yeah, Kakistos. He's the one with the pee. Or the big fat one. He does have powers. He
Joven says he is
He
a
doesn't,
man.
wait, what powers does he have? Sorry.
He, if a person's standing close enough, he can psychically pull them towards him, and then, like, he reached his
You talking
hands.
about Balthazar?
Oh, I am talking about Balthazar. Which one was kissing
I was
toast?
going to say, Kakistos is the one that Face Watcher was killed by Kakistos.
With the
Oh,
cloven
yeah.
feet.
Oh
or
yeah,
hands or
oh
whatever.
yeah, he's just big
His-
and old. That's it.
Yeah, and stakes don't work on him. You have to have a big stake.
Yeah, you need a big
That's his
stick.
power, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you know who he reminds me of?
Says wolf powers.
We just watched the Angels episode with it, but you know, like the one that orchestrates the death of Kate's, the policewoman Kate's dad. He's like this.
Yeah.
He has a voice that's like, and he's like got a weird face. He's a demon. I was just like, he's just like Kakistos. He pops up, and you're just like, who the fuck are you? And he dies. You're like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of those. The thing is,
Yeah,
like you either get hooked by the emotional aspects of the characters, or you
Yeah.
sit there and wonder, wait, did she drown, or like, why is she paralyzed?
Right. Well, I think the show really improves on those points as it goes on. I didn't have much answers for this. I was just like, yeah, I blame it on season 1, man. It's just a bit clunky.
What we were talking about in chat earlier today, like the scales of subjectivity versus objectivity, right? Like you can objectively say, well, that's kind of a hole in the plot, is it not? But you had enough love built up on the subjective side that you're like, I think that's something useful to distinguish and figure out.
Well, I have a scale for it all. Like, if someone told me that objectively season 1 of Buffy's bad, I'd be like, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, actually.
Subjectively, I love all of Buffy, so and I'm okay to admit it.
mean,
However,
you can't-
if someone argued that the later seasons are objectively bad, I'd happily, kill them.
Oh,
But it is
yeah, I'd
subjective.
bitch slap them. I'd be like, you are wrong. You are.
I'll kill you. I'll make videos. I'll direct you to Pastor the Dead.
There's a,
Yeah.
there's a
See,
great.
that's the thing. Like
Go ahead, Jack.
in the season, with season one, you can't really debate its bad points because they are there, and you can't say anything about
A lot of
them.
them really are mechanical. Like you can say this is just bad, and you're like, sure.
Yeah,
You can't do anything about it. It's fine.
exactly.
The characters are all there,
Buffy?
which is the strongest part of all of Buffy anyway.
Cal, one of my, wow, that feels unbelievably pretentious, what I was about to say. There's a fella who follows my channel, Guy, who...
Guy's amazing. I love
He
Guy.
and I occasionally get into arguments and debates. We got into one today about Xander's arc, and I was like, wait, no, I'm not getting pulled into this.
Can I just say, I completely agree with Guy when it comes to Xander. Completely agree. I'm sorry, Ian. I love you, but
Wait, hang on,
I don't-
sorry.
I don't hold
Did he-
anyone's opinions against them. The reason I'm bringing this up is Guy responded, "There's no such thing as objectivity in art." And
He's wrong.
He and I had a very long discussion.
It's not even a question.
He and I had a very long discussion about this, and I would actually love to see the two of you fight it out.
It's really easy. The one I've used probably is for like The Last Jedi. There's a blatant editing error where Phasma disappears and reappears. Can you really
Well, I
tell
agree
me
with
that's
you
anything
guys
but
on
an
that.
objective problem?
but when it
As
comes to
soon as-
Xander, I'm Team Guy for sure.
Well, yeah.
Wait, so-
well, hold on. We need to decide what we're watching next.
How about
Guy
Oh,
says
Night?
do you want to hold the
Iron
vote? Do you want to throw it to chat or?
Oh yeah, chat. Let chat
Can we
decide.
do a straw poll?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna straw poll.
Put Nightmares on there. That's my pick.
It doesn't have to be season 1, buddy. We can watch anything
Oh, yeah.
or Angel.
The body. No.
Wait,
Yeah.
so sorry, Ian. Do you think there's objectivity when it comes to art? Because I would happily argue it, and I wouldn't even do it in a ferocious way. Ferocious words. I would do it in a way that's very kind. I would just like. It doesn't help the conversation if everything's subjective to me. I feel like it's almost difficult to get too many.
He and I had a very long conversation about it. And all of my long debates with Guy all start from the same place. I tweet or create a post and say something in casual vernacular, and he takes issue with my inspecific use of the language. Today's version, which is fair, buddy. I'm not holding that against you. Just so we're clear, I'm not putting anything on Guy. Today I said there was Willow has a line in Innocence where she says, where Cordelia, she's just discovered that Cordelia and I should be more rigorous in my language. It was the point of that. But she's just discovered that Cordelia and Xander have been making out. She runs out of the room, has a hissy fit about it. And I don't ordinarily use that term, but I use that. I think it's appropriate in that particular situation. I hate that little scene.
Passion's a good one.
But there is a great bit. Jack, can you do me a favor? Can you get a straw poll going
man.
and throw it in there?
Sure thing, brother.
Is there a way to allow them to add options?
Hey, how are you gonna do that? Unless-
Just throw me some, I guess.
All right.
I'm gonna put Nightmares.
yeah, if you just scroll through, everyone's giving strong suggestions, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh God, a hole in the world, please no.
Zach,
Oh God, no.
Zach just
No,
That
I
episode
can't
kills
say
me.
Jack.
I
just
love
pick and
Fred.
choose. By the way,
All
Guy,
right.
Guy, I'm not dumping on you, man. Just so we're clear, I do really enjoy our conversations.
I'm not looking at chat right now. Hang on.
Helpless, smile time. There's tons of options, buddy. Not once more with feeling. We did that in the bad decision stream.
Yeah,
Replay
I'd say
out.
discount. So
Mile time.
Ian, have you-
Audrey said passion. That's a
I'm
good
okay with that one, I suppose.
Sure.
Not as bad as like the other.
all right,
We can
let-
put
let
it.
me
We can
get
do.
chat.
Well, no. Let's just stick to Buffy tonight. Well, never mind. Someone already said smile time.
I was gonna say I have all
Yeah,
of
you
it,
already
so
put smile time on.
Yeah, I
sorry.
don't care. I'll watch whatever. So the discussion that we got into was because I
The
said
wish. That's a good choice.
there's
Sorry.
a Willow says to Xander, it just means that you would rather be with someone you hate than be with me. And
Ooh, something blue.
And I threw a tweet up and I said that kind of summarizes Xander's relationships. And when he falls for someone or, tries to move beyond, I don't remember the exact wording. I said, he screws it up, or he backs out, or he gets afraid, or whatever the. If you do smile time without me, I will murder you, says Audrey. We'll do that on a bad decision stream.
All right, I've got 7 choices. Is that enough?
Sure,
we just...
Yeah, it should be fine. Honestly, it doesn't really matter
Yeah,
what it
throw
is.
the link in chat so they can vote on it.
Alrighty.
Anyway, Guy called me out because the implication of the way I phrased it was that Xander hated the women that he was with, and that wasn't That's fair. That wasn't exactly what I was trying to say. I watched a philosophical keynote recently where they talked about how the human proclivity is not to pursue relationships that would be healthy and good for you, but to pursue relationships that duplicate your experience of love. And generally, your experience of love is the experience that you've received from your family. And so what I was trying to hint at with the tweet was that Xander's unhealthy love life is often informed by his familial experience. So he had a crush on Buffy, that was unrequited, so who knows where that would have actually gone. But he had a crush on the Bug Woman, that didn't turn out so well. He had a crush on...
Inca Mummy Girl?
Yeah, the Inca Mummy Girl, that didn't turn out so well. Arguably, he was just having sex with Anya in the beginning. I think that's the way that relationship is initially framed. He seems intolerant of her, he doesn't want to be around her, he doesn't like to have her... He's constantly mocking the things that she says, and that relationship slowly transitions into something more meaningful and purposeful, and then he leaves her at the altar. And then in season 7, he asks a woman out, and she turns out to be worshipping the First, and ties him to a wheel and stabs him. And so my intention in highlighting what Willow said was more about how we tend to pursue the experiences of love that we already have experienced, rather than ones that would be good for us or healthy for us. The Buffy one aside, because that didn't work out, and arguably Xander puts Buffy on a pedestal anyway, and that leads to his Riley talk in season 6 or season 5, which I hate. Is that season?
You hate season 5?
No, I know. I love season 5.
I'll kill you!
No, Into the Wind. That conversation.
That's bad words.
So there's Jack just put the vote in the comments section. Go ahead and click on that and vote for what we should watch next, everybody. Phoebe says, I find Xander is pretty directionless, and that is reflected in his inability to anchor himself emotionally and romantically. I agree with that. Guy, who I should include in this conversation, since I've been calling it out, he says, I disagree
Love you, Guy.
with that revised take 2, though. I knew you would, Guy, and that's why instead of offering that revised take on Twitter, I just said, we disagree, and I already know where this is going to go, so I'm going to take
which happens. What I will say, though, is that for the objectivity thing, I'm assuming you know who Thunderfoot is.
I do.
Maybe not. He's an old YouTuber. He's one of the first people who because I watched debates for years before I started doing it myself. He was someone I checked out. He debated Kevin Hovind's son outside some kind of march thing, and they barely get to even jumpstart a conversation because they're stuck right at the beginning of establishing the rules of objectivity versus subjectivity. Now, how do we define what's objective? And it's like, well, it's always from our perspective, so it's never objective. It's always going to be tainted by what we see, what we do. And like he asked Thunderfoot, he's like, how do you know what's real? And he's like, well, because I can see, I can tell. He's like, how do you know that means it's real? And like Thunderfoot basically has a speech that I really liked where he basically says, like, we have to fundamentally agree on certain things. We have to agree that what we sense is real, okay? So when I see that the sun is yellow and you see that the sun is yellow, when someone says the sun is blue, we say, no, it is objectively not blue. Otherwise, we're never going to get anywhere with a lot of conversations, because ultimately you can do what most YouTubers do when they're criticized and say, well, it's just my opinion, man.
Well,
if I tell you...
God.
I was just going to say, like, if I tell you that Buffy is, she's bald throughout the entire series, you'd be like, no, she's not. And I go, oh, it's my opinion. It's subjective that I see it that way, because her hair is so much shorter than what I consider to be hair, that I consider that to be bald, essentially. You'd be like, that's just nonsense. I'm not listening to that. So we have to agree on the fundamentals. So a lot of people have seen my work, and they're like, okay, can you do a video on how you seem to put the two things aside from each other and how you think objectivity works. And I don't even get like annoyed with that question, because it's like, yeah, objectivity practically comes from we just have to agree on what the standards and rules are and then stick to them. To stick to them.
Yeah, I think you do need to establish that in a short video. So for you, 25 minutes, where you.
What are you talking about? 40 minutes is I consider short. So
yeah, where you sort of share your methodology, and maybe that's through a conversation that you have with someone else. But I think that that would be a value, that would be a service that you could provide for the people that watch you. My content is very much just experiential. Like I tried movie ratings early on, and I hated myself for them. And so when I write a review of anything, it's purely about my own personal experience of it. And sometimes that's ambiguous. People, the 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri video that I did, I got comments saying, "So did you like it or not like it?" And my response was yes, because what I'm trying to do is to convey the experience that it left me with, and if you're interested in that, then go see the movie or watch the episode. I mean, that's the ambition anyway. I think especially with the Buffy and the Angel grind of trying to do 2 a week and usually not pulling that off. Sometimes you're like, hey, you know what? Expecting, not very good. It's not about experience. It's about this episode is terrible. But generally with the good stuff, I try and do a little bit more from that point of view of. But that so I feel like I'm cheating because I get out of having to talk about the objectivity versus subjectivity. Mine's all just here's what it left me with. Here's how I feel. And if that means something to you, then go see it.
Well, I was going to say something really weird now, and I'm going to relate it to Buffy too. But we talked about before with different things with how the soul mechanics work throughout Buffy, and you try and I think I said to you, like, are you always going to try and make it work, as opposed to going, okay, this might be a mistake? And you pretty much were like, no, I'm going to try and I'm going to always work to try and make it fit, try and find ways to make meaning out of it.
With the series,
like
yeah, with the series, I'm going to try and do that.
I agreed with you, because I would rather think and work my ass off as an amateur writer to be like, what is Joss trying to say? What are they trying to say? Let's figure this out. So that's also how I look at your YouTube channel as a whole. You fit within my view of objectivity versus subjectivity, though maybe you would disagree or agree in certain places, but your channel, I consider it inspirational from that actual perspective. There's a couple of channels that I really think do it. But I think your analysis is that. I always spot when you put the right language in there in terms of like, this is what it means to me, and this is what happens. I've always felt like I've understood the line, and I know I think it was.
And you're never forceful with it either.
Lovers Walk.
Lovers Walk was a video I'm pretty sure I disagreed with you on your assessment of how Spike. It's something to do with love, because when I went through it again, I was always checking the comments, and I'd realized I'd left a comment that it was one of the first conversations we had, actually. I don't even remember what it was about anymore, but my point is that I don't see it, if ever I think that there's a misstep in your channel, ever, I'm just like, oh, he probably doesn't have, maybe if I give him my perspective, we could hammer out a definitive version that's a bit different, as opposed to, you're wrong, and you said it's subjective, some crazy like that. I make mistakes. My Black Panther video, I get the opening statement wrong, and I hate that. I was like, I got the time wrong.
We can't
Everyone
edit.
picked up on it.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah,
edit.
no, of course. And, I've never had the thought that if someone says something that's strange or weird, I just go, oh, they're just wrong. I'd be like, no, I want to have the discussion.
So the Lovers Walk, I remember that because that was very deliberate. Everything that I talk about with Spike is in some way setting up for season 6, except for School Hard. Actually, no. It pretty much it's season 6 is a puzzle to kind of be sorted out, and you and I have talked about it individually, but just since we're streaming, people feel as though in season 6 the writers jumped the shark a bit. I'm not saying everyone feels that way, but there are a group of people that think that seeing red makes no sense. or shouldn't have happened, or was wrong, or whatever it was. And
Right.
maybe from a cultural standpoint, when you're talking about the use of certain horrible events to move a character forward, I can see that. But from the standpoint of the fiction, my point has always been to sort of set up that moment was motivated from the very beginning. That moment was predictable, and that moment was Spike being Spike. And it's difficult because he is so well written. He's so charming. It's such a wonderful performance that he lulls you into a sense of love and safety and security. And
that's why it's so jarring when it
And
happens.
you need to reference when you get to that point all the times he reminds them he's evil. They're funny every time, but they're important.
And so when he says love isn't brains, sweetheart, it's blood screaming inside you to work its will, I said he's wrong. It's both. And Buffy and Angel prove that in season 3 by the sacrifice they make in not being together. Now, he's the limited insinuation in that sequence is that they're denying that they're interested in each other, and he's like, no, you'll come back together, you'll fight, you'll shag, you'll yada yada yada. And he's right in that episode, but he's wrong in the season, because they act out of brains. They love each other smartly, not just passionately. And that is what I was trying to say in that Lover's Walk review, was adult love is both. Adult love is to love someone passionately and intelligently. And Angel decides to go. And that is an action that he does out of love. And so I got flack in that Lover's Walk review, and partially that's because I'm not allowed to... or rather, I've set the rule for myself that I don't spoil. And if I did a retrospective video for each season, that would be one that I spend a lot of time on.
I remember now, like, my thing with you, I'm pretty sure we agree, we have different words for it. I've always viewed, and this is obviously from personal experience as well, as is yours, that the heart, that's where all of love comes from. The mind tempers it. The mind's like, okay, we can do this, this is important, this is good for us, this is bad. While the heart is like, no, let me out, I want to go. And the brain's like, calm down, and it brings it back, it knows what to do. Sort of thing. I've always looked at it as like the police of the heart, the mind, and sometimes you can have such a, like, what was it? Is the id, right? From season 4.
Yeah.
Like you can have such a desire that the mind is thrown out. The mind doesn't have any control over the heart 'cause it's so passionate about what it wants.
Aurora says knows what's knows what's up with relationships based off this conversation. Thank you, Aurora. By the way, if you want to speak to any of us, just use the @ symbol and then our username.
I'll try and pay more attention to chat if I miss anything. I just I've always, because the funny thing is as well, like, memories come from the mind, right? But there was this, I watched this documentary before that apparently this old lady was given a heart transplant from a biker that got into an accident,
right?
And a heart transplant, and then from that day on, once it was completed, she had this wanton need to drink beer excessively.
Oh, that's awesome!
And it was like, so it's like there's something about the heart retains more than just a blood pump. There's a lot going on in there. It's all very complicated,
right?
But yeah, my assessment, and this is completely limited. It's something that can be just talked about. It's just that I've always felt like my mind half the time has to work its ass off to get my heart to stop doing things that are bad for me. Like I constantly reason myself out of doing things the heart is desperate for.
I totally understand. I also this is going to sound old and pretentious, but it's something that I've also gotten better with in time. Is distinguishing between passion and lying to myself. Like you just know yourself. The more things go on, you know what I mean. And the older I get, the better I get at knowing when I'm lying to myself. As a means to an ends. As they were in that episode, or rather as they were in leading up to, which is that we can just kiss and this will be okay, and so on and so forth.
Well, at least for me, it's like if I'm really into someone and it's not good for me, like my brain always I always know it deep down, but that doesn't always translate well because of what the heart wants and all that, the
Sure.
passion, so to speak.
Yeah, because I was going to say it comes to it's a personal experience story that would inform all of the way I just analyzed it,
Yeah.
right? Like, and it's probably the same for you too as well. It's like it
Yeah.
matches perfectly in your head, so you're just like, that's what it is. And then other people are like, well, it's completely different for me, and you're like, oh right, shit, yeah, other people exist.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I can only write from my own perspective, and I welcome disagreement.
Of course, and this is why Buffy's touted by me as so strong. Is we can spend so much time talking about every topic they bring up, even in like several with one episode, even.
Yeah, I mean, we are sitting here talking about a 21-year-old show. I mean,
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
and
Jesus
what-
Christ.
And the difference between the heart and mind in relation to love. That's some pretty deep stuff.
I'm going to go ahead and call the vote. The vote.
Yeah, we do have a clear winner.
Something blue, is it?
And Jack, can you do me a
Yep.
favor? Would you throw Cal's YouTube channel into chat every once in a
Sure
while?
thing.
Thanks, man.
Sure thing. I can do.
Some people aren't gonna like me. I'm like, this is this definitively.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
say you and I have very different flavors, but
So
go and give them a try.
with
I'm not as kind as you.
31.03% of the votes, we have Something Blue.
Something Blue is the winner, so let's
I was
go.
gonna say, can you guys pull up your something's blue so we can compare time? Because I have a feeling season 1 is probably going to be the same, but later seasons maybe not.
Well, let's see.
All right, just a sec. Chat, this is Callum, aka Mauler. Check him out.
Mauler.
Show him
Mauler.
some love.
Mauler.
And
It's my fault people say Mauler because I capitalized the L. I just wanted to be cool. Capitalize
you want it to
the
be
L.
cool. That's adorable.
Well, your channel and branding is very video game forward. Video game specific. I was thinking about that. I'm actually doing a rebrand right now. A friend of mine is a wonderful designer, and he and I are working on new logos and graphics and all of that stuff. And if you're going to swing more film, I was just thinking about, you might want to take a look at some stuff.
Is Something
I mean,
Blue
what, do you
season
think-
6?
What'd you say, Cal?
I was just gonna say, do you think that something about my artwork makes you feel like it's games versus
It
film?
does feel very games to me.
It's just like an open road, isn't it? And then like a gas mask with blood splayed on it. I was just like, does that feel more film, more game? Like, I don't know. Honestly, just ask
Well,
it.
we can talk about it offline. I didn't mean to just throw that off the cuff.
Yeah.
But
No,
we're both sort
Well,
of thinking
a
about
better
growth
answer to your
and
question
moving
then is
forward.
that I actually prefer, via very small margin, film to games. And when I say film, I mean TV shows as well.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching them for my whole life, basically, since I had memory. And games have come in much later.
Aurora
I love games.
Aurora says, since
Yeah.
I'm already drinking, let's make this a bad decision stream. I think we're on our way. I'm through my... Cal, what are you drinking?
I'm Captain Morgan's. I'm already pretty much there.
Nice.
I'm drinking water because I'm
Yeah,
broke.
I'm coming for...
Thank you,
Jack,
Miranda.
you should have told me. I would have ordered something for you.
I appreciate that, brother, but it's all good.
Yeah, I'm kind of going the opposite direction. We're talking about it with the rebrand, but I'm going the opposite direction where I want to do more game stuff because I love games, but it'll be on that separate sort of gaming channel. But I kind of want the brand to be sort of, this is Inside Baseball. Never mind. So I've queued up Something Blue. I'm at 4408 is my total.
Mine is 4408 as well.
Mine is 44.8. Sweet.
All right.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go.
And,
I love this,
this-
episode.
I was going to say, this probably is a good choice for funniest episode of the entire series.
Oh
isn't it?
yeah, I think it's the funniest. But as the chat pointed out to me in a bad decision stream, I was planning on showing this to my brother to get him into the show, but
No.
they pointed out that a lot of the humor doesn't work if you don't know the characters, and that's
Yeah.
Not only
so
that, but
true.
you'll ruin the end of Oz and Willow's. The downfall of their relationship, I feel like, is a great thing
yeah.
not to spoil.
I mean, isn't
Yeah,
it-
but
No episode works. You can't.
Yeah,
like,
no episode works. No, there are episodes that work. But there used to. So when I got started, there was another. I told you I spent some time. Hold on. For some reason, my copy of the episode has a big green bar along the side of it that I want to get rid of for the viewing audience.
Some of that happens on my copies as well, and you're gonna have to stick it, basically.
Just give me a second here. I'm gonna get rid of that green bar. There we go.
I guess you could cut it out from OBS, I suppose.
Yeah. When I first got No True Buffy Man Needs a Recap. Buffy comics are great and underrated. We're watching Something Blue. Time code currently is 1:15.
That would be an interesting thing to ask the audience, by the way. What would be the best episode to show someone out of...
Yeah, because I've been trying to figure it out
You
for
need-
ages.
You need one that not only doesn't ruin plot lines, but one that is genuinely good.
We have
Yeah,
94 people watching, 97 people watching.
Someone suggested an episode to show my brother. I can't remember what it was, but it's spoiled and jealous, and I don't want that spoiled. That's a big
Yeah,
point to
there's
me.
too many things. You
Yeah.
gotta be careful.
Yeah. Well, and
'Cause
some of the like the
School Hard could work.
Yeah.
School Hard could work. That's a good one.
I was thinking it would have to be season 1 or 2, and preferably before Angelus turns. That
Yeah,
would-
because for me at least,
Jeez, that's a tough
Angelus was such a big point for me. Like it blew me away. So I wouldn't want to spoil that.
When I first got started, I told you the first thing I did was watch everything that other people were doing that was going to be similar to what I was doing to try and figure out what they were doing well and what I could improve on. And there was a YouTuber by the name of Once More with Ling Ling who did a lot of on-camera stuff and did some cuts, and she got bullied off the air by the copyright stuff. But she had a video called the best ways to introduce a band candy. That's a good one.
That would be a great
Isn't
one.
that, yeah, a lot of the humor comes from Giles. Giles doesn't work unless you know him.
You have to make a compromise at some point because we've established.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm happy with. I think I'm happy with School Hard.
School Hard's a good one.
It's
Because
good, but
the problem with Hush, by the way, is that you'll give someone the wrong impression. They're like, oh, so this is a show where
I
crazy
think-
things happen.
I think the problem with School Hard is the vampire camp. That's not really camp. I don't know what that is. The vampire mythology, darkness with the anointed one and all of that does not represent where they go with what they do with monsters.
And it's not that funny from memory either. Like,
But
there's not a lot of humor in it.
Oh,
It's not necessarily about the funny aspect. I just remember it being a good episode.
Lie to Me is an
Oh
interesting
yeah,
one.
oh, it's a great episode. Yeah.
Lie to Me is an interesting one. Aurora, question for you. Does that one stand up with that analysis? Because I've heard from many people that my review makes that episode interesting.
Yeah, I've had people say it's boring, and then I've talked to them about all of the ideas that are being put forth, the subtext, and they're always like, "Oh, okay."
We talk about School Hard, or
No, Lie to Me.
Yeah.
Because
okay,
as
yeah.
Ian's pointed out, the band of vampire worshippers are really cringy. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
what is
yeah.
this?
I'll
Kinda hard to
grind you
believe.
into a sticky paste.
But I think
Why are you so
the
sweaty?
ending of that episode just seals it for me.
Sure. I think we're nailing it down though, because
Yeah.
I can't see going past season 2. I feel like you're already gonna be in dangerous territory for showing where things go before enjoying the journey.
Yeah,
if you know
yeah.
what I mean.
You don't want to give away the right like even
Oh.
No, definitely not.
even
Every single person I've watched it with, by the way, is disappointed to see Wesley in Angel pop up, but they're never disappointed.
I get that.
No,
That
they're
is
always
exactly-
like, "Oh, this guy," and then they're always like, "Oh my god, that was great." Like, when
I
you get
get
to the
that.
end of
I
it.
get that. Yeah, he's not really that much fun on Buffy. He's only comic relief.
Yeah.
One thing I like that they did with Wes is the fact that his evolution on Angel was quite gradual. He didn't just show up and he's automatically this badass. He's still a bumbling idiot for a little while.
It's interesting you say that. A friend of mine almost presented it as a plot hole. He was like, he's bumbling in every scene, aside from the one where Angel gets caught into the Colosseum-style fights. He goes to the guy who Angel talked to. He's against 5 guys, and he manages to use a crossbow to disarm someone with a gun and then hold them all at gunpoint. He was like, "Whoa!" He was like, "He's not that bad then." And I was thinking to myself, like, is this an element of like how cool he can be, or is this kind of like what?
I tried to set that up with the fact that the demons were afraid of him in Parting Gifts, and in his first character building episode is the one that I'm working on right now. I've Got You Under My Skin, which appears to be kind of like a sort of an average Exorcist knockoff, but there's a lot more going on to that episode than meets the eye. And
lots of comments about his father, isn't there?
One detail I love. Did you guys catch this? The thing in that episode?
The kitchen is closed until you
When
Which one?
so the demon is laying in bed, and the demon is taunting him, and trying to get him to lose his cool and act impulsively, which is Wesley's sort of fatal flaw. Is he acts without consulting, or acts before the group. And when he does, Wesley gets angry, crosses the line, holds the crucifix in the kid's face, and the kid throws it back, and he takes it in the neck.
You know what?
Right.
Are you saying that deliberate for season 3?
I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but it's
a beautiful connection.
It is a connection. It is a connection.
I mean, the easy subtext there is that Wesley will go by what he thinks is right and eventually hurt himself.
Wesley.
Oh, I get it now.
Exactly.
Sorry.
He takes it in the throat.
That took me a while.
Yeah.
That took me a while. Sorry, I'm with you now.
That's why
I love season 3 of Angel, by the way. I love the whole plot with Holtz and Wesley. Everything's so good.
Hard to watch. It's so dark.
Oh yeah, dude. You know the scene with him and Lorne, and he does the lullaby. When I'm with friends, it's just silent every time because you're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's good TV. And then you have season 4.
I'm trying.
There was one.
Has he lost his vision yet?
Oh, he's no. He's telling you to get the supplies now.
Wesley gives.
I always found that a bit, just a little bit over the top from Giles. He says to her like, "You didn't get the supplies." She's like, "No, I got the supplies," and but I didn't show up. And then he's like, "That's not like you at all." And I remember thinking to myself like, Giles, you know she's in pain. Like, wouldn't Giles be like, okay, like, you need to talk?
I always read it as an expression of concern. I do read it as an expression of concern, like Giles.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I just
using because what's a way to sort of access Willow, it's but through academics and through school, you know. Like I kind of read that as his attempt to bridge. Oh, hold on, are you kidding? She's hanging on by a bloody thread.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Spike consistently understands emotion better than pretty much every character.
Oh yeah. I suppose that relates to him being a poet and whatnot.
You know, like how you just go on thinking about everything in the show. Spike's intelligence to me is always interesting. So I try and rationalize it as every time he shows intelligence, it's usually due to an emotion-related thing. Yeah. Because he's often stupid. He often misses the point on a lot of stuff. When it's
Spike
more.
What are you doing?
Spike is by far my favorite character. I love it.
Nails emotionally, like empathetic. He's just good at that shit, man. And it makes sense because he was a poet and all that.
One of my favorites in this is, what are you doing back here, Spike? Drusilla dump you again? Maybe I dumped her! Oh, it's so,
dude, you know what?
So
that line is very similar to the Ragnarok one, where he's like, yeah, Jane dumped you, right? He's like, maybe I dumped her.
Maybe I dumped her.
Very similar. But yeah, I was just going to say about... Oh yeah, you know that scene, by the way? That's quite a sad scene for a funny episode. Willow's very broken there.
Yeah, well, the interesting... Sorry, hold on, I'm going to mute because I'm pouring something.
I thought you were bringing the ingredients for that spell.
I'm pouring whiskey.
We can hear it.
That's illegal in America, right? Prohibition's still going on.
Yeah, totally.
It may be. Well, don't get me started. The news has been depressing lately. Where is my Diet Coca?
It's been depressing everywhere.
We don't need to get political.
Precisely what I avoid by watching TV most of the time.
Driving.
Yeah.
Ugh, Riley. Thank you, Aurora. Aurora says you do a great British accent. I think Cal would disagree.
Well, yeah, but I think I do a good American. I'm sure you would disagree.
I do a terrible American accent. I sound like a Valley girl. And no, I'm not doing it.
But we can all agree that Jess does the worst accents of anyone on this call.
Oh God! Hello, mate. I'm from Aussie land. Oh my God!
She's doing the Dick Van Dyke chimney sweeper as
Yeah,
an Australian accent.
she sounds like a Charles Dickens character. Like, oh,
That's,
I love
by the
you,
way,
Jess. If you're watching, you're probably not.
She's probably
but
not
don't.
watching.
But
lore
don't hate me.
continuity, not a huge strength for Joss, but character continuity, like Pandine just pointed out, Spike watching Passions with Joyce all the way up into season, it's just beautiful.
Oh,
I agree.
so good.
Audrey, Jess is one of the funniest people I know. She's
Isn't it
hilarious.
literally one for one? In this episode, they talk about Timmy going down the well, and then she says something like, "Did Timmy ever make it out?" or something.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
that what
they
she says?
track it. They track it. It's wonderful.
I love stuff like that. The details are insane. Like Spike calling back on Willow to what she was wearing in Lover's Walk all the way in season
Yeah,
4
you
and
remember
stuff.
that little flowery outfit? I'd bite you in a heartbeat.
Sorry, Megan. It's too embarrassing. I can't do it. It's terrible.
That's
Trust
one of the
me.
things I appreciate, by the way. Spike's American, isn't he? James Masters.
Yeah, yeah.
He does a
Yeah.
good British.
Yeah.
But you can hear it when he pronounces what it's like can't. He still says can't, but he says it sort of British.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's the reason my accent's fucked, by the way. I pronounce different words British and American at this point.
Anna.
I can't tell you what they are.
Oh, Aurora says, "Where did you get this shirt?" Oh yeah, there's people coming in.
Yeah.
So
For an Englishman,
in
you
the
should say
season
can't.
4, episode 1 of The Freshman, Willow is wearing a hoodie that says the hysteric woman on it, and at Comic-Con last year,
Blink 182.
a very generous person came up and took photos with me and gave me the shirt, and I love it, even if it's a little tight.
That's true,
It being-
Audrey. Alexis is American.
It being tight is my fault, not theirs. No Diggity says, so Faith gives Spike the crush on Buffy when she was in Buffy's body, right? Faith
I
gives...
think that's a part of the arc.
Yeah, as much as I love Spike, Alexis does the English accent like perfectly.
Oh god, he nails it.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And Joss Whedon, gotta be proud of him, assuming he's doing the scripts, but they have a bunch of British idioms for those characters that I'm always surprised to hear. And I'm like, how do you know that?
Yeah, like
How do you know that's how we say
wanker.
that?
And,
Yeah, that's the more obvious one, I'd say, but yes.
well, yeah. But there's heaps. Yeah, because a
That's the
lot
thing,
of
I feel
those
bad that I
we
can't
use
quote
over
one,
here as
but there
well.
are.
Drunk?
Omar,
Maybe,
you're not wrong.
Drunk.
maybe Anthony Stewart had advised on stuff like that. I hope he did.
Oh, he did actually. James Masters. I've heard him. I think I saw like a Comic-Con panel on YouTube where he spoke about how Anthony Stewart had took him aside and sort of helped him pronounce certain words and yeah.
Do you guys think it would have a drastic effect on Spike's character if he was American or he had an American accent?
Yes.
Yeah,
do
yeah,
too.
definitely. It wouldn't be the same.
I can't really explain why either, but if you give me a few minutes, I might be able to.
Well,
I don't know, the British accent usually lends itself to wit, and Spike's very witty with a lot of the characters, especially in season 4, sorry.
Yeah. Well...
Quick wit, British accent usually blends well.
No, I don't want to.
It gives it an... I don't know, maybe it's hard to say, but for an American audience, it gives him an air of sophistication and cleverness that balances out the style that he chooses to go with, which is the Sid Vicious, Sex Pistols look.
I think it
I can't
also
believe he pulls
makes
it off so well.
Oh yeah, it's
I
glorious.
think it also makes him a little rough around the edges too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Which
Oh yeah,
works.
yeah. By the way, Jack, did I tell you I got the first Comic-Con speech or panel, whatever?
Oh really?
Oh, which one?
You've written it?
No. Well, no, I'm using the one from last year. So I applied to to Toronto, San Francisco, Chicago, London,
Cardiff, I think.
Cardiff, New York, and then
Yeah, what was the result on the British ones?
they usually wait until the last minute. So
Okay.
what it might end up being this year is that I get to do one sort of luxury trip, and then some local ones.
No, we decided against Melbourne, Audrey, because I'm coming there.
Yeah,
so
Jack's gonna be out here.
Melbourne another year, though, I guess.
But
And Dev, Spike has a different accent than William. Yes, yes.
He changes it
William
deliberately,
sounds
though,
much
doesn't he?
more. Yeah, but William sounds much more posh, I guess.
but I
Yeah,
also
it's like a let loose sort of thing.
I also applied to Kansas, Nebraska, Denver, of course, and I got the Omaha Comic-Con
Oh, nice.
panel. They all sort of overlap, so I'm gonna have to wait because Denver last year waited until a month or two beforehand. But Omaha, Nebraska, I didn't even know there was a Comic-Con in Omaha, Nebraska until I looked.
Ban Candy Giles is Anthony Stewart Head, isn't it?
What'd you say?
The accent, Ban Candy Giles is actually Anthony Stewart Head's.
Oh yeah, that's his That's his normal accent.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
he's
a
kind
shock
of,
to find out, by the way. Like,
Yes,
whoa.
it's so disturbing. I watched him on the Craig Ferguson show, which I love.
It's kind of Cockney in a way, I think.
Oh, don't hope that I can correct you on that. English is confusing to me. There's so many accents in England.
I know, right? There's heaps, so I might be wrong. But
Yeah, you might be. I
it's
can't confirm.
it's much more rougher though than his Giles accent.
Yeah, it's almost like a safety blanket in a way. When I saw Wesley on Dollhouse, and his accent was full on American, I was like, that doesn't even sound right to me.
Yeah. I've seen in interviews with him where I'm like, you just don't sound right, buddy. Please stop doing that.
He does it better British than he does American. I stand by that statement.
Yeah.
It just sounds so weird.
Giles
To
uses
do a
Cockney
fake
rhyming
accent.
slang at one point. Pandy.
Whereas James Masters sounds fine American. He sounds completely fine. But
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Alexis Denisof just doesn't.
Have you seen? I don't want to go off topic a little bit, but James Masters, the amount of times he's been asked to repeat the line "out for a walk, bitch," I always feel really bad for him.
Well, that's
I told my
Jesse-
friends-
Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He's such a dude, though. He's so
Yeah, he still
good
does
about
it.
it, though.
And I was
He's
like,
so
I said to
good.
my friend, "You're gonna have to find someone else to ask. You cannot ask that. We have to. Someone's gonna do it already. We gotta give him
he's
something interesting."
so. I mean, if it bothers him, he doesn't really show it because he's so cool about everything. I love that guy.
I mean, yeah, he's top quality.
Meeting
Well, I
him
mean,
was
his
a big
career
highlight.
at this point is he's in minor shows here and there, but like he does loads of Comic Con, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, heaps.
Like he's so good at it, probably because of experience, plus the fact he seems to really love it. Which is awesome.
He's really appreciative of Buffy too. Like I've heard him say before. This is sort of paraphrasing, but he pretty much said, "If Spike ends up being the role that I'm most well known for, so be it. I'm totally fine with that."
I don't know why he wouldn't be. Spike is amazing.
I gained a newfound respect for what they do at Comic Cons because when I got you guys have seen the big bad picture I got, right? Where I was the cheese man.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job, you know. Hundreds of fans in an hour, all of them expecting an individual sort of, not necessarily intimate, but an individually catered experience, and it's not easy.
But Masters handles it so well. He's so good.
They did a great job. I was happy with the experience that I had getting to talk to, what was it, Spike, Drusilla, Glory, and Blondie Bear? Harmony.
Yeah.
I got the shot with all of them, and as I was walking away, I had that moment that I'm sure a lot of fans have, where it's like, well, when am I going to be here again? And I turned around and they were getting ready for the next person, and I said, hey, I just wanted to say that the show saved my life, and you were all a major part of that. So thank you. And like a couple of them kind of put their hands on their hearts, and I was like, and just kind of turned and walked away. And it's like, okay, you know. When are you going to be there again?
Something more meaningful than that, couldn't you?
Well, Jack is very good about. Jack and I have had this conversation. If Jack has, I'm with celebrities and people like that. I'm always like, I shouldn't bother them. I shouldn't bother them. You know, they're a person. They want to be left alone. Whatever. Yeah. Jack, on the other hand, this is how we met. Jack liked some videos of mine and started sending me messages constantly.
They were egregious fanboy. Oh, I don't even want to go back and read them now. But yeah, we're friends because I am a fanboy.
And one evening I was up super late and responded to a message, and he replied, and here we are, friends now. But like,
and we spent like a couple of months talking back and forth. It was crazy.
And but I've never like the. It's just a weird thing, right? Celebrity is such a weird. I don't know where I'm going with this, but celebrity is such a weird thing, and the show did save my life. And having that moment to work with a couple of the artists that were involved in making the show what it was, I felt like I have to acknowledge this for me, and not be effusive about it, and not force them to get it. Say what I need to say, and if they get it, they get it. And that was what that experience was for me.
I am very big on sort of fan mail, but I try to be like, I try to be cool about it. You know, I try not to be too overboard with everything.
I think, Jack, I think it's a strength. I think acknowledging the creators that do things of value for you is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think too.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what I focus on, is what it means to me and that I appreciate it and whatnot. But yeah, the one thing I really appreciated about meeting James was that he seemed like genuinely interested in talking to me. Like, he didn't rush me or anything. He was engaging. He spoke to me for a bit, and I just really appreciated that. He was just really cool.
Swear what? You're not gonna do anything to me.
But yeah, Ian, I don't want to go back and read those first messages because my god.
Yeah.
My god.
The public aspect of creating stuff and putting stuff out is always kind of a struggle for me.
You also don't take compliments very well. I love you, but you don't.
You know, Will, it's not like she could.
What shirt is he wearing?
Xander says probably my favorite Xander line in the entire series in this.
Oh, yeah.
His reaction when he finds out Buffy and Spike are engaged, it cracks me up every single time.
Which is always, which is again, interesting foreshadowing. Cal, did you catch that?
Sorry, my PC froze, which that never happens, but I got an SSD, so I'm back already. What I miss?
No, all good, brother. Do you need the time code?
Yes.
Okay,
all right, let's
say when.
Let's go.
So where are you guys at?
We're at 24 minutes in 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm at 23:10.
No, I know. So in about 30 seconds.
Oh, sorry. So say it again. Where am I going?
24 minutes in about 30 seconds.
All right, I'm
23:30.
Okay, 24:30. Good.
I made that 23:30.
Yeah. Do you guys ever have a heart attack?
That's where it was.
Do you guys ever have a heart attack when your PC freezes? I'm like, is this the day?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every time, brother.
Well,
every
especially
time.
So I used to be all Mac. I had an iMac, MacBook, iPad. I had a problem. We'll just put it that way. And last year or the year before,
Wait, have we pressed play again? Or...
Oh yeah, I've been playing. I'm at 24.
Oh shit.
Oh, you gotta.
I'll pause. 24.
You gotta redo the countdown.
20, I apologize. Hey, this is the first time we've done this.
Right, where are you? 24.
24:05.
Okay, 24:05.
My favorite thing about that line, "Can I be blind too?" is that he takes it in the eye later on. Again,
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of that. There's a few things
weird
here and there about
foreshadowing.
that.
When Buffy shows up again after Anne, I think it's in Dead Man's Party. The Scooby Gang is trying to kill vampires on their own. Buffy shows up and almost stabs Xander, and Xander says, "Careful, you can put someone's eye out with that." And I highlighted that in the guide, but I forgot to highlight in something blue him saying, "Can I be blind too?" And
in like a subtle way.
yeah, well, I mean, as subtle as I get.
You know what's just really sad? And I don't know how you guys are gonna react to this, but every friend I've been through, everyone has hated Xander. None of them like Xander.
I
and
don't
so
get it.
I feel awful when he gets his eye poked out.
I'm a
None of my
Xander
friends
apologist.
have.
I did too. It's brutal. It's brutal.
And all my friends are like, "Oh wow, get get wrecked," and I'm always like, "What? It's much worse than that."
I am not. I get the reasons. I don't know. The Xander hatred was a weird part of the. You know, like you watch something and so wait a second. Let's get the episode started again. 24:05.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, give me 1 sec. And yep, ready.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, I was just trying to help.
The Xander hatred was something that I didn't discover until I started doing this. Because I watched the episode and I was like, I mean, I get it. He's selfish, yes. But then so is Willow. Like when she wipes everyone's minds and does her spells. Actually, the only one that it's tough to make a selfish argument for is Buffy most of the time.
Yeah.
What about Giles?
Season 7, Giles is very selfish. I know better.
Oh
than
well,
you.
I thought we were going from like.
No, I beat you. I
'Cause you-
jumped. I got you. I got you.
The thing
If you,
about
if you get to all the way to season 7, it's like up till that point though.
a lot of people.
We didn't establish the rules.
The thing for me with Xander is that a lot of people judge him harshly for his jealousy with Buffy, and I get it, but at the same time, it's not an abnormal thing for a 16, 17-year-old boy.
Exactly.
Well,
Now here's
this
the
is
They
thing.
I
are judging
understand-
him from an adult perspective, and that's not right, I don't think.
It's still weird.
I understand
watching
everything that he
makeup at this
does, and I don't. He's probably my least favorite out of the 4, if you call them the core group. But I still. This is the thing, because with my friends, I'm like, yeah, I don't like him as much as the rest, and they're like, I hate him, and I'm like, hate him? So he does a lot of good stuff. He says a lot of stuff that can piss you off, but his actions are important.
The biggest Xander problem is Goodbye Iowa. The biggest Xander problem is Goodbye Iowa. Not Goodbye Iowa. Into the Woods. Into the Woods. His speech to Buffy, validating Riley's behavior, invalidating Buffy's need for time alone, anti-ultimatum. You can't give me an ultimatum to respond. I hate that speech.
God's sake, this is nonsense.
That's all
You
I
hate
have
the
to say.
speech.
I hate Xander's speech in Into the Woods. I hate it.
I'm 50-50 on it, to be honest. I see.
I'd have to listen to it again. I'm not 100% sure if I hate it.
It's so invalidating of the fact that she needs time. And yes, he's leaving. He's leaving on an airplane. Don't know if I'll be back again. But that's not her fault, right? And
But I think what Xander is saying is that he's a good guy. You have a good relationship. Like, why let go of that? You know, like.
Yeah, it's basically the question is: does Buffy's need for time trump Xander's? He's about to go forever.
Right, but here's the thing too: the writers have admitted they didn't know how to write Riley. They didn't.
And it's so obvious.
Well,
You can tell.
In season 4, he's a symbol, but they didn't. They wanted to do the anti-angel. There's a wonderful Nerdist podcast with it's a Mutant Enemy writers reunion, where they all talk about. And Riley comes up, and I think it was Marty Noxon or Jane Espenson who says that they discovered early on they didn't know how to write Riley.
Oh,
and he
just one thing. Spike was holding the book from Gingerbread then.
Oh!
It has the symbol for the gingerbread. I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, ah,
no,
cool.
I love connections. I love threads. But so with the acknowledgement that they didn't know how to write Riley and that he probably wasn't the right person for Buffy. Then you have Xander's speech. And Xander's speech, then, are we supposed to take that as an argument that he's correct? That there's...
I didn't take it. I took it the way of, like, fetch him before he's gone forever and figure out the problems over time. You have to stop him from leaving is more important than anything else.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I hate that speech.
I didn't think he justified Riley at all. But obviously it has to be...
The other thing is, like, you can't tell me how to run my frickin' relationships.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
Like,
it's like I said,
I'm trying
it's
so hard not to curse, and I really want to curse.
I was going to say, sorry if I've done it already. I didn't realize it.
No,
He's
it's
not a
fine.
bad
It's
guy. your relationship is pretty good. Don't fuck. I mean, don't mess it up. Sorry, you were just talking about swearing, and oh god,
Hey,
I'm bad at this.
Hey, you know what? I just caught my boyfriend getting suck jobs from vampire prostitutes. How about you take your analysis of my relationship and shove it up your butt?
Okay. Fair
No,
enough.
it's totally fair. You sound like Buffy. Like, that's the point. While I feel like I'm the therapist. Like, yes, I know, but he's about to go forever.
Callum,
Cannot
I
solve
love
the
you,
problem
man.
if he doesn't exist in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's complicated,
You
though.
don't-
I'd agree.
you
What
don't-
about the speech he gives to Dawn, though, in season 7 about what value she has?
Oh, so we're no. There's a caveat. That is my least favorite Xander moment.
Lol,
Okay.
The way we got into the conversation was you said that you didn't understand Xander hatred, and neither do I, frankly. Every character,
Yeah, I would have to emphasize the hatred part. I understand not liking him.
Exactly. Every character on the show has a moment where, I mean, I hate that moment, but there are moments with almost every character that I kind of hate too that feel sort of validated by the writing. Like, that's the issue that I have with that speech, is that the writing validates it. Excuse me.
I probably like Willow and Giles more, but I still like Xander.
I mean, he's my least favorite. I prefer Buffy, and by the way, controversially, I'm not a huge fan of Buffy as a character, but that's way too much to get into. It's the one thing I know that I'll have a long conversation with Ian about one day.
Yeah, we'll get into
And it's okay, so by the way, just as a precursor, what backs it up is every single person I've watched comes to the conclusion they're like, I don't know how I feel about Buffy. I like Giles, I love Willow. That's usually the case. I love Giles. They're always like, Buffy, I'm not sure. And
like
by your analysis of them informing her character as satellites, I always felt that they had I don't know, a stricter sense of what they are versus she.
This is why I love season 6 as much as I love season 6, is because it's the greatest expression of her flaws.
That's why it's my favorite.
Second only to season 2. And that's sort of a necessity when building character, is allowing your characters to screw up. Sorry, I got a little loud. I'm going to turn mine down just for a second. Hold on. You're a
Yellow Crayon speech is incredible, Handine. Incredible.
I love that scene. That's why I got the yellow crayon tattoo.
This is why I cannot hate Xander. I can't hate him. I can only dislike a lot of reasons.
He saved the world with love and words. I mean...
Someone in chat, I think it was Pandian, not to call you out, I apologize. Someone in chat said that he's kind of a nice guy. It's funny how that has become a pejorative
well, certainly
term.
with Buffy for like season 1, I guess.
Well... Hold on.
No? I don't know. I'm
listening
interested
to
to see what you
Giles.
think.
I got distracted by Giles.
Right, yeah.
Stop that right now! I can hear the smacking.
I kind of feel like Buffy's sort of my least favorite of the core characters. I mean, I don't dislike her.
I'm sorry, Ian.
I know that's sacrilege, man. I'm sorry, but it's just...
what I wanted to add was, this is why I love season 6. I felt like we get to really explore Buffy as a character.
Yeah,
I know you're going to be like, what are you talking about? But the other seasons to me always felt like she was
It's
through...
It's the greatest manifestation of her in error, or in flaw, or suffering.
And I don't want to be pedantic, but I was like, I love characters that have flaws.
Well,
that's why I love season 6.
That might be a product of the metaphorical structure of the show, setting up.
I love this bit so much.
Well, yeah, here we go. Hold on. Moment of silence.
Spike, he's all untied.
That look.
Ready? Here we go.
Maybe the demons have something to do with Giles being blind. Giles is blind?
Stop that, you smell like fruit roll-ups.
That's another great line.
This is the crack team that foiled my every...
I love this bit. Here we go.
Spike and I are getting married.
What?
How?
Three excellent questions.
Oh, the dialogue in this one's so electric.
I've seen that scene so many times and it always gets me. It's perfect. Nikki Brendan nailed it.
Oh, it's so good.
Can I be blind too? Where were we? The bourbon is starting to have an
Buffy,
effect.
was it? Season 6, something like
Oh
that?
yeah, we were talking about Buffy. I remember that part.
Also, Buffy. I think. I think Willow.
Think, Greg, think.
I think Willow, Cordy, and Wes all have better arcs than Buffy does. I'm sorry. But
that's where I was. So
I agree.
What you're describing might be a consequence of the metaphorical structure, right? So all of the Scoobies in orbit around her were supposed to represent aspects of her character, mind, heart, spirit. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Mind, heart, spirit. Right. So when she's having a spiritual crisis, Willow is very in crisis. Where Buffy is a complete character of mind, heart, and spirit, Willow, representing spirit, was very struggling over a particular situation. And so, in some ways, the Scoobies in orbit around Buffy's character were more empowered to sort of suffer and have issues than she was within the plot itself until season 6. But I mean, even then. Anyway, that's my theory about why you might feel more partial to them than
I'm
her.
totally willing to have my mind changed on it, but I just don't respond to Buffy in my head. When I think of her, when I think of Willow, I'm like, oh, Willow, Wesley, or Buffy. Oh, yeah, Buffy. Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel. Exactly.
You guys are wrong,
but
but that's okay. I still love you.
No, I want you to change my mind on it, honestly.
Well, that's
because when I have friends make the same points, I don't disagree, and I'm just like, yeah.
The other thing too is that Buffy is also the Superman of the show. Like, she is the vessel through which the ethics and the morality and all of that kind of flow. And there's something less interesting about that, isn't there? Right? Like, we love the Joker more than Batman. We love the ones who are allowed to explore our psyches more than the ones who represent the ideal us.
Also, I've got an @me thingy in your chat. It says, do you think male characters become less battle useful and relegated to emotional supports, BFS, and comedic relief? So what my mind immediately goes to is how efficient Gunn and Wesley are, and I'm like, oh, well, they're both Angel, so Spike is pretty good in Buffy.
Contrary to that one.
Yeah. Complicated, but that runs me into just wanting to gush about the whole white hat, black hat, grey hat constant theme in this show as well. Wesley being the only one that pursues guns, but he's also very morally ambiguous. Angel.
Holly Smith asked me, what are your thoughts when Spike becomes a main character? Does he represent Buffy's darkness like he always says, or something else? I don't think...
I'd say to a degree.
I want to ask, I don't know if you know the answer to this.
Go ahead.
Go for it, sorry.
No, in short, I think I think that Spike capitalizes on Buffy's darkness. He doesn't represent it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've been trying to set up, is like, Spike's a manipulator. He's brilliant, insightful, emotionally understanding, but he's also soulless. And so he's working towards an end.
I feel like a lot of people forget the soulless part with Spike.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, well, that's the puzzle box of season 5 and 6. Is his sacrifice, his apparent sacrifice to glory.
And that's why.
Well, we could talk about that, but we both probably have justifications for it.
Like,
but
with
what I was
the
going to say,
Seeing Red thing, people hold it against him. But I mean, if we're going to hold sold Spike responsible for unsold Spike, then we have to do the same with Angel. But no one does that, you know?
No, well, that's an issue. That might be a lore issue as well. That's something I've been thinking about.
I mean, that's another... Again, so much you can talk about. It's brilliant. What I was going to say quickly, you have more insight on the behind-the-scenes than I do. Was Spike brought in to replace Oz?
Spike
it was Cordy, wasn't it?
No, Tara was brought in to replace Oz.
No. I don't mean... So, like, Spike comes in about an episode after Oz leaves, and he becomes a main credit star as well.
So, as I understand it, Spike was not going to be a part of season 4, but his appearance in Lover's Walk was so good that Whedon decided he wanted him on the show in some form.
let me rephrase the question. Would
Yeah.
Spike have still been the exact capacity that he was had Oz not left?
I think so.
Well-
I think so. Yes, because they didn't know that Seth Green was going to be on the show until after that Seth Green was going to leave until after season 4 started.
Because like you got to admit the timing's interesting. Spike
is.
turns up for one episode
Well-
and then he's gone until Oz leaves,
Hold on,
and he
James-
replaces his spot in the credits as well.
you've got a question. Pandian asked me, what do you think about the whole theory that BPD, I don't know the acronym, ambiguous personality disorder. I actually think BPD, what's BPD?
Bipolar disorder.
For whom? The whole theory that bipolar disorder ambiguous. Sorry, as applied to who, Pandian? I apologize, I've had bourbon.
No Diggity said Spike rarely won a fight in later seasons. He was getting knocked out as much as Giles. Spike was referred to by Buffy as the strongest fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, even if he is knocked out, the point is that he's their best fighter. Even Buffy thinks that she's better than him. That's actually another thing that's so nerdy. Who do you think is better in the fight? You know, sort of thing. And with Spike, for me, it's always how much he wants to win is going to determine how much power he's going to have, basically.
One thing I do want to quickly add is that James Masters has said many times that Spike was brought in to replace Cordy, someone who sort of rocks up, tells everybody they suck, and you know.
That makes sense.
That fits way better. Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
all I'm commenting
James
on
has
is
said that many
the credits, the credits, and the timing in the episode. That's the only thing that makes my eyebrow raise.
Understood. Sammy Kazan, I apologize if I butchered that, says, my question about Spike, does he have morality? No. Only because after he almost rapes Buffy, he realizes what he has done and tries to get his soul back. Now, the entire hypothesis that I've been setting up from the very beginning is that a vampire's priority is not necessarily self-preservation, but whatever their priority is, it's
selfish.
It's purely 100% selfish and to a sort of hedonistic point of view.
He wants Buffy more than anything.
He wants Buffy more than anything. So to the point where he's willing to sacrifice himself to glory, there's a chance that maybe he's not going to have Buffy anyway. So, like, there is selfish love. And so that makes sense to me. I sort of
Such a controversial topic, though.
It's difficult. It's difficult. But that's the fun of it, brother.
Spike
absolutely.
really messes with the soul canon.
I feel like I have the answer. I'm sure you guys do as well, but I'm sure everyone in chat does too.
But then
in terms of how this works.
And in seeing Red, he has lost. He will not have her again. He will not.
Yeah.
He can never be
Lock the
man.
door.
He can never be the man that Buffy wants. So he attempts to take her, and realizes that that's not going to happen either. And so there's two ways to interpret. In his eyes, as he sort of drives off, to me, I'm like, he just can't do it without a soul. He's not capable of being the man that she will be with.
I'm not sure if you can call it morality, but I'd like to think there's like traces of William left in him, and maybe that sort of explains why he's sometimes able to appear to act selflessly.
William was a lover, and I'm not blowing my own horn here. I'm just saying, like, the template idea that I came up with for sort of vampirism way applies to Spike. William was a lover.
Oh yeah, I'm on board entirely with your assessment of vampires.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
So I think that explains Spike's compulsion. To the point of self-destruction.
Yeah, like he would happily take damage in the overall pursuit of Buffy.
Right.
Holly Smith says,
he does.
He does. He takes significant damage.
Guys, I think we're gonna have to make a decision here. Are we gonna watch another episode, or
I just want the conversation to continue. I don't even care if there's a Buffy episode in the background.
Holly Smith says Angelus wouldn't have done 90% of the things Spike does. And Angelus has done a lot worse. I
was gonna say Angelus is way worse than Spike.
It's just that the reason why the bad things that Spike does we see, but with Angelus we only hear about it in secondhand accounts, so it's not so visceral to your senses, and you know.
I love this. Calvin says we need to look to Harmony to understand vampires more. So, Spike is relatively self-explanatory. I think if in a bubble you look at Spike, you can sort of understand and figure out the way the soul canon works. You can understand things. But then you look at Angel versus Angelus, and specifically the episode Orpheus in Angel, and things get unbelievably more complicated.
Yeah.
Where you're like, wait, so they're separate entities, and they can talk to each other, and I don't understand what's the deal.
Question. Do you consider your character to be different to that of you with zero inhibitions? Because, I mean, I do. I think that a me without any inhibitions whatsoever changes my character almost. With the craziness that I'll pursue.
But the way... well, that's fascinating.
The lines I'll cross, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, man, dude, you saved a puppy. Hey, why don't we watch Orpheus? I'm going to executive call that
Orpheus?
one. Yeah, we're going to watch Orpheus.
Oh, wait, I don't think I have it.
Well,
how can you not own every single episode?
You know how to get it, Jack.
I can quickly acquire it.
Okay, Jack is going to get Orpheus, and we're going to go watch Orpheus because it fits with the discussion. And this will be the last episode we're watching tonight.
What season is that?
I quite because Defrosted Robot had actually a comment earlier saying something like there are good parts of season 4. I don't want to give the wrong impression. I really would never ever skip season 4 at all. It makes season 5 so much better if you know what happens in season 4 with everybody. It informs a lot of the best parts of season 5, as well as having some. You know, it's worth it for Wesley alone. I think season 4. There's not really a scene I don't like with him. The one I always think of is him and Gunn, where Gunn says, "What happened to you, man?"
It's Spin the Bottle. That one's that's a highlight.
I love Spin the Bottle.
That's a Whedon one, of course. So.
Yeah, and the thing that makes me love that episode is that Alexis Denisov easily falls right back into the original Wesley as opposed to the developed one.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
Comic Wesley is amazing. I'm head boy.
I think there's by the way, because of what No Diggity said, there is a difference between getting drunk and lowering inhibitions versus removing inhibitions.
Yeah, I was thinking about it in the context of getting drunk, because that's pretty much the only time.
Of course, you are responsible for what you do when you're drunk, because that's the decision you make.
Yes.
But if you have your inhibitions removed, I think it changes your character.
What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, totally, totally.
So like, if you say that you are responsible for what you do when you're drunk, then surely you're responsible for what you do when you have no inhibition, which is the process of losing your soul, essentially. I think there's a difference, an important difference.
Because you'd be just it'd make you more impulsive. Like, you see something, you want to do it, and you do it.
Sorry, I'm setting up the screen.
I'm a big fan of Batman Begins' statement. It's so true. It doesn't matter. Like, fuck, I've already forgotten the line because I'm too drunk. What you do that defines you. What you do is what defines you. Because for everyone else, they're not inside your head. They can only define you by what they see you do and say. So what you choose to do and say essentially makes you, at least to the outside world. So, say for example, someone has the desire to just kill people, but their entire life they fought against it. Then that is who they were.
They were the person who didn't
it's
kill
complicated.
people.
It's very complicated. I don't want to say something too extensive here.
No.
Very...
You're talking about action defines identity. Is my audio cutting in and out? I apologize.
You put out there. What did you say?
No, I think what you were trying to say is that, or what you were saying was that action defines identity.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, sweet.
I think because you cut out, I'm not sure what you said.
No, all good. I wonder if I'm starting to have Discord problems here, which might put an early end to the evening.
Well, if you're moving away from the mic at any point, that would potentially mean that you're going to cut out. I stay very close to mine.
I will attempt to remain static. What is? I'm not seeing total time code on this one. Hold on one sec.
The hell is? This isn't working.
Jack, did you get it? Are you playing it in VLC?
Are we going to have to go for Buffy instead?
Hang on a sec. No, it's so.
Spin the bottle, Jack. How could you?
Oh. Wait, that's way wrong. Is that wrong?
What now?
There's something wrong with this.
Previously on Angel.
Hang on.
Oh, mine screwed up as well. Is it like Jack? Is it way too short?
Yeah.
It is way too short. Yeah. So we can't watch Orpheus. Oh, we can. We can. Jack, there's a Jack. Look closely. There's another one.
Wait, Jack's gone.
Jack is.
He's
gone.
not in the Discord. Oh, but yeah, the reason I said what I said, by the way, was because I was like, that's getting to some seriously deep stuff to say. What defines you as a person is what you do versus what you think. Like, that's some. You can't just be definitive about something like that, you know?
No,
it's like a fundamental of life.
I think it's relevant to the conversation. It's something we're going to have to talk about.
I accidentally closed Discord. Whoops.
Hey, buddy, welcome back.
Thank you. Alright, so what are we doing then?
By the way,
yeah,
all this
so
crap we've been talking about, this is what I learned from Buffy and Angel, which is why it'll always be special to me.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I've learned heaps from it.
All right, so here's what we're gonna go back to the straw poll. The next winner was Smile Time. So
But that's Angel again.
gentlemen,
Have we got that?
cue up Smile Time.
That's episode... Wait, I haven't got episode names.
14,
I can't remember which
14,
number
14,
it is.
14.
Okay.
14
Oh,
of
and
season...
whenever I watch this show with
5?
friends, I make sure they have time to see 14 and 15, because I feel like Joss Whedon does that on purpose. The safety, the comedy, and then the absolute slice to the heart sort of thing.
Give me a second,
Like
everyone,
by design.
to lay out the live stream. Here we go. We're watching Smile Time. Cue up Smile Time.
Hang on a sec.
Wait, have you got it, Jack? Or?
Audrey, we're still going to watch Smile Time in a Bad Decisions live
Episode
stream.
14 of season 5. Okay, hang on.
This is the Mediocre Decisions live stream.
I was going to say, we can totally choose someone else if you want to keep it for another time. There's plenty of good stuff.
We already watched Something Blue anyway, and we've done that in a Bad Decisions, so...
we could do Band Candy. I don't know, I'm just putting it out.
This is a very different form. This is an experiment. This is an experiment.
It's going to take me 5 minutes to have the episode.
Okay.
Okay.
For
what are we going to
undisclosed
talk
reasons.
about until then?
Cal, we're going to have to vamp. What are you wearing?
My Doctor Who shirt that I wore when I met James Masters.
That's amazing. I'm wearing a Buffy shirt that was given to me by a fan.
Yeah, when I met James Masters as well, I thought to myself, I've got to ask him something that's a little bit different than what he probably gets. So I was like, okay, my rule is no Buffy question. I've got to make it something more interesting. And I said to him, I absolutely adore every piece of acting you've ever done, and you're the entire reason I watched all of Smallville. And he just smiled. I was like, yes.
I loved your question to Anthony Stewart Head. Tell that story.
See, well, so with Anthony Stewart Head, he was the first one I met. I was better with James Masters, so I was like, I'm going to say this line. That's all I've got to do, and I'm safe. And so I managed to pull it off. But with Anthony, do you want to tell it again for the thingy? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go on, do it.
I was going to say, the premise is that he was in Cardiff, which is like 10 minutes from where I am, Anthony Stewart, and I was like, I cannot pass this up. So we got the tickets, and my sister was late, and I was really upset about that. but I still waited for her to go in, and I was depressed because we were at the back of the queue when I was intended to get to the front. And so it got all the way to lunchtime, and like there was even murmurs of like, you're probably not going to be able to see him. And I was like, well, that's great, sister. Thank you. I was like, you ruined it. But it was fine because everyone cleared out for lunchtime, but we didn't actually realize that's what they did. Nobody had told us. So we just kept, like people move out and then we move forward. We're like, wow, this queue's going quick. This is great. And we got all the way to the front and everyone was gone. And we're just like, oh, fuck, wait, what's going on? And the display boards for like, this is this person, they were in these things. Anthony Stewart Head was behind his, getting some stuff ready, and he was on his phone. And he came around to the front, and we saw him. He saw us, and then there was like a representative that sorted these things out, and they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, he's going to be going on lunch, so you're too late. You can't do it." And like I was just like, "Oh, that makes sense." I was like, "Why would everyone do it? Fine?" And he was. He saw us in the background, and he was like, "No, they can do it now. It's fine. Bring him over." And we're just like, because my sister was the one who introduced me to Buffy, so she was on board with this. She was like, "Oh my god!" And she was like, "What do you go ask him?" And I like died inside because I was like, I have a question. Like, oh god! And I had a picture. I framed it as well because it's just you frame what's important to you.
Yeah, of course.
It was a picture of him from season 1, I think, and he's just sitting on a desk with a book, and that's as simple as that. And I wanted him to sign it, and he was signing it, and I was like, and I just asked a question. I was like, so And I looked up and I was like, he's there for Buffy and Merlin. And I was like, what did you enjoy? Did you enjoy Buffy or did you enjoy filming Buffy or Merlin more? And he just like looked at me and he's like, well, I enjoyed both of them. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
It was almost like he was confused. He's like, why would implying kind of like, why would you want to, like, even if I said Buffy or Angel, like, where does that go as a conversation? And I remember thinking to myself, like, what a shit question. But I was just like, thank you. And that when you take the picture, like they put an arm around you, I was like, I felt like I was melting with Giles's arm around my shoulders. It's unbelievable experience. And because I have a friend who was like, he doesn't react that way with celebrities whatsoever, and he doesn't understand it. And I was like, I don't know how to explain it to you. I don't. It's just.
Cal, did I tell you about meeting James Marsters before we did the four of us together?
No, go ahead.
So Jess and I, I spoke at the Denver Comic Con on Friday, and then we had a 3-day ticket. So Jess and I went on Saturday. And on Saturday, Marsters was taking individual photos, and then they were doing all the Buffy bads, the four of them together. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get the group shot with all of them. That's what it is. But Jess wanted an individual shot with Marsters, and so we stood in line together, and we got to the front of it, and she said. I said, okay, go ahead. He's right there. Oh, shoot. How do I share this? Let's full screen this. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm figuring out how to do this with the live streaming software as we go, which is a little weird. So, you guys are going to have... Cal, you're going to have to look at the live stream in order to see the photo.
Yeah, I've got it up. You're right.
Yeah. So... Jess was like, I'm not going up by myself. You have to come up. So I go up with Marsters, and I'm a giant. Like, I'm the bridge troll that you have to pay money to in order to go.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3", and I'm at this time.
I am 6'3".
At this point, well, okay, then you're going to identify with this photo. At this time,
yes, I do.
At this time, I
scare people in my day-to-day.
I was 300 pounds. At that point too, so I'm a huge dude, and so Jess goes up and they talk for a second, and I guess he thinks I'm the boyfriend. I don't know exactly what, but it led to the photo I'm about to show you. So let me give me a second, guys. Browser audio display capture. Not that one. We want to show you this one. Here we go. This is the photo that it led to. Now, there's a delay of probably about 30 seconds. But...
I'm patiently waiting.
She immediately... I was like, you did not want me in this photo. I look like the guy who ran into the photograph. And it was just like, hi! I love... Like, the two of them look sort of perfectly proportional and sort of like that's the photo. And then there's a giant standing next to them.
I think it's better than my photo. My photo, I look like I'm fanboying hardcore because I was.
And James just has...
the heartbeat. The heartbeat for me was just like... I felt like I was going to die once I'd left the room. I was like, I have to breathe.
I thought I was going to faint meeting Alison Hannigan, and I don't know why, because I don't normally get that nervous, but seriously, I'm lining up and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to talk. Oh my god, I'm freaking out. What the hell? And
yeah. Was this the same for you guys? Like, I was relatively calm up until I could see them. I think that's when I died.
Yeah.
I was like, they're real. They're right there.
That experience with so what happened for me was I was standing in line to meet Drusilla, and I'm using character names right now because I've had alcohol. I apologize.
It makes it easier.
Yes, Drusilla, Spike, Harmony, and Glory. I was standing in line to take the photo of all of them, and I had a bag with me, and I was wearing that awful shirt. And Akbar deserved better. Thank you, Boris.
Comment of the stream right
Yeah,
there.
Boris just throwing shade like nobody's business. So I'm standing in line, and
Savage.
there's a snake line or whatever, and I have my my like roller suitcase with me, and I lay it down. Yes, well, anyway, I'm ignoring chat for a minute. I open it up and I start pulling out the outfit. It's this suit that I bought for the Cheese Man, and Jess the night before shellacked actual Kraft cheese and like sprayed it with it was disgusting, but it was awesome. It looked realistic. And I start putting that on my head and whatever. And meanwhile there's a woman standing next to me, and she keeps looking over and she keeps looking over. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's like, "Hey, I just want to say I love your videos." And I was like, "Thank you. I appreciate that." We're both standing in line to meet them. And I said, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I said, "Were you at the talk the other day?" And she said, "Yeah, I cried." She said, "I wanted you to know that I can't remember the school. I think it was Iowa State University." She said, "I went into my media studies class and went in and sat down. It's an auditorium of like 200-300 people or whatever it was. And the professor walks in and starts playing one of your videos. And,
Oh, wow.
And I think it was Lie to Me. I don't remember what it was, but we watched it all the way through. And the professor said, "This guy is basically doing what we're going to do the whole semester. Here's the link. Go home and watch him." And she said, "I thought you should know that."
Wow, dude, why didn't you tell me this? I didn't know this.
You know me, but
God damn it.
But
Ian.
How didn't you have a heart attack?
But having that experience in line with this person, and I shook hands with her family, and we took a couple of photos, and then walking up to speak to the four of them, Drusilla and Harmony and everyone. That's what tricked me. That's what flipped the switch as I was walking away. I took the photo, and as I started to walk away, I thought of her talking to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to be her again. And I turned to them and I said, "Look, the show changed my life. And you were all a huge part of that, so thank you." And,
Wow.
turned and walked away.
Dude, that's incredible.
But it was the strangest thing being in line to go and take the photos with them, being in line and having that experience with someone who's a fan of what I do, and then going and having an experience with someone that I'm a fan of, and going, yeah, you know what? We're all just doing a thing. Like, we're all just trying to express ourselves, and we're all just...
You're getting it, Ian. You're getting it. That's amazing. Now you know what it's like.
Jack, do you have the episode downloaded?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Can I just go to the toilet quick?
Oh, yes.
Yes, of course you can.
Be right back.
Well, let's check in with chat.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hey from Iowa, says Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. No, notice us. Kevin says, "What am I not noticing, Kevin?" Sorry. We're going to move this over here and just talk to you guys for a minute.
Does anyone have any questions for either Ian or myself?
We don't need questions. We're just chatting. Do you know what this is? Dang.
We can hear you pee.
Pandian says, "Do you have a picture of the Cheese Man costume?" I keep it over my desk. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys my shame. I apologize. Just 1 second.
Good night, Audrey. Thanks for hanging out.
I don't know where the picture is presently. But
Megan?
Pandian, are you in the Facebook group? I'll post it in the Facebook group.
Megan asks how long till Jack will come to America. I'm in the process of during the summer, so maybe around June or July. Maybe we haven't figured it out yet. I'm in the process of getting my passport and all that stuff sorted, but it's going to happen soon.
Good night, Audrey.
Love you, Audrey.
Favorite and least favorite big bads on either show. Mine are controversial and mainstream. Least favorite big bad is Glory.
Mine would probably be the Master, I guess.
Well, yeah, you can do that because of season 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite,
Hello? Okay.
Welcome
hi.
back, brother.
Favorite, I want to say it's probably a tie between Angelus and the mayor because I love them both. I'd say Angelus wins slightly, but I just think Angelus is just so much fun to have on screen.
Bandy,
I love
and
him.
yes, there is a Facebook group.
Yeah, I'm about to link it
Yeah,
right
Jackson just
now.
wrote in link.
Can I,
Nicole's, hold on, dude. Nicole says, Ian, would you do a meetup? Yeah, I would do a meetup. I'd have to be in Denver. But here's
No, it'd have to be in Britain.
here's
Yes.
here's the thing. If I do the Omaha talk, or if I do any of the other Comic Cons, Jess and I will set up a. We could set up a meetup, sure. Why not? An episode watch. We all get together someplace, and
I mean, season watch is what you meant.
yes, season watch. we all get together someplace, have a chat, and talk. Aurora asks why Glory is one of my so Cal, while you were urinating fiercely, what the question was, what is your least favorite, or who is your least favorite big bad in either show?
You picked Glory?
I picked Glory.
Wow.
I
Controversially,
like Glory.
I'm willing to hear it out, but like she's nowhere near the worst for me.
who's your worst?
Probably. Ooh. Sorry, I'm running through them in my head. I don't have a problem with Adam. Season
Really,
6
you
is
don't have a
good.
problem
5
with
is
Adam?
good.
Also,
No,
did I just
not-
pick
I
Glory
don't-
over Adam? Holy cow!
I don't think he's good. I do not think Adam is good, but I don't find him annoying to have.
I like
Maybe
Adam
my-
from.
My
I
decision
like
might be
Adam
controversial.
from.
I was going to say quickly, mine's Jasmine,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh yeah,
I love
yeah.
Jasmine. I love Jasmine.
If
Yeah.
we're talking Angel as well, yeah.
She bores the hell out of me, Jasmine.
But I like
Yeah,
Adam
Jasmine.
from an aesthetic standpoint. I think he looks badass.
I think he's
don't
cool, yeah.
disagree with that, but just quickly, Miranda Sarah Lynn asked, "Wait, Thunder One Soldier, do you have a YouTube channel?" I do, but it's terrible at the moment. I'll do something with it eventually, but until then, it's going to stay hidden. Sorry.
I've been trying to get him to get it off the ground since we met.
Yeah, and
I have a friend like that.
It's gonna happen.
I have a friend like that too. It's so annoying. They talk about all their ideas and then they never make the fucking work.
well,
Don't be one of those
like,
people, Jack.
No,
Don't be
but
that
to
guy,
be
Jack.
fair, I've become a lot more involved with Ian's channel. So I mean, I'm doing
Yeah, no,
stuff. You know?
Yeah,
Because
no,
mine's
it's not that
shut
you're not
off.
doing anything. I just want you to.
I've nearly
Yeah.
convinced my friend to write a script. I'm getting there. I've been hacking away at his damn personality for the past few weeks.
Aurora says no. Ian, answer the question. No.
Wait, which question?
We've moved past it, Aurora.
Well, I wanted to clarify on behalf of. I don't know if you saw this already, but Defrosted Robot. He said that Akbar deserved better. It has nothing to do with you wearing the suit. He's talking about the film, the shirt. Sorry.
Oh,
It's all about the film. It's
Of
nothing to do
course-
with you wearing
of
the
course
shirt.
Boris
No,
is
that's
going
fine.
back to the Last Jedi. I get it. Yeah.
I was gonna
I
say
should have known.
that's what he's talking about. Not the.
Yeah.
I mean, you look dashing in that shirt.
I look
Amazing.
lovely.
You sexy bastard.
So, Jack, do you have the episode?
Yes, I do. Yes, I said
How
that
long?
like
How long?
10,
How
This
10
is
minutes
this
ago.
is the final episode tonight, gents. We're gonna call it at the end of this. So,
Alrighty.
How long?
42 minutes 54 seconds.
Mine's 41:11. Hang on. I've got two
Yeah, I got
copies
the
of it though.
same thing.
You got the same as Ian. Okay. Give
Yeah.
me one
I
sec.
wonder why he has the same as me.
Well,
I just
okay,
don't
this.
know. I don't know, man.
Give me 1 second. Which episode is it? Number? Sorry.
Arr, matey.
Season 5,
14,
episode
isn't it?
14.
And
Welcome,
uh-oh. Both my copies are 41:11. Why?
Calvin wants to know why you hate Glory, Ian.
What?
Wait,
I never
hang on,
said
sorry.
I hated Glory. That's
Just to clarify, so both copies of my episodes, unfortunately, are 41 minutes and 11 seconds, which means
so we have a scene that you're missing, basically.
either that. Well, hang on,
Or
let me go to.
credits.
There's a streaming site I was using for a friend, so if I can get the third version of it, let's see if I can get a good.
Not
You don't understand
I just wanna
how
say-
many methods I have
I just
for
want
showing
to
this.
say that
people.
we here on the Passion of the Nerd channel do not endorse piracy or
Of course not.
downloading things
Arr.
or streaming from any
what
alternative
the f-
sources.
Steve, you are not a pirate. Arr.
The streaming. Hang on, you guys have a 42-minute episode.
4254.
Yep.
The two not Jack Sparrow versions I have are both 41, and then the streaming site is also 41. What the hell copy do you guys have?
I don't know.
Maybe-
Why don't we find out together?
I mean, what, do you want to just do it anyway? I mean,
Yeah,
we're going to
no,
talk over it, right?
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah,
we're going
exactly.
to talk over it anyway. So let's.
Yeah, we're not going to.
The one thing is, there's only one scene I want to sync with you, and that's when Spike finds him. But I'm probably not going to be in sync.
Well,
for
You're a
that. Doesn't
nuts
matter.
puppet man.
I can
Let's-
play it in my head.
Will Thelma and Louise and Jerry our way over the cliff together? So
Let's do it, boys.
Let's do it. Let's
all
go
right,
for
here
it.
we go. Ready in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, now that that's started, let's talk about Glory.
Yeah.
No, it's an opinion that I'm
I don't
It's
think
just
she's
interesting.
great. She's a very
It's
one-dimensional
an
enemy.
opinion
Yeah.
that I'm very, very squarely in the minority on, which is that
Yeah, but I have a feeling you've got good reasons for it.
Oh, you're wrong. You're very wrong. You're incredibly wrong on that.
At least you're honest about it, about your pettiness.
I can't stand her performance.
Oh.
Okay. No, yeah, no, I totally understand that.
I
No,
find
I
it
can get that.
awkward
She's
and she's a wonderful person. I've met her a couple of times now. She's a wonderful person, and I would never in a million years say this, but like I don't know what she's doing. Like, I don't know what she's playing with that character.
It's like
and
the worst half of Cordelia.
Yeah, she
kinda.
comes across as like a valley girl, mean girl, sort of high school cheerleader kind of thing.
This is so, by the way, this is so molesty. By the way, if you listen,
Oh God,
to,
yeah.
if you listen
Oh,
to his
friends are like-
dialogue, come here, touch it.
Yeah.
Put your hands on it, touch it.
My friends are always confused. They're like, "Why is this the funniest episode?" I'm like, "Shut up, just shut up."
Yeah. It's so molesty, and I think that's a popular actor right there. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he does look familiar, but come over here and touch it. That is a very bad line if
Yeah,
you wanted to not make it confusing in terms of a sexual side.
Thanks for like ruining it for me, guys.
Oh, do you guys not
no,
love,
there's a
by the
huge
way?
molestation metaphor in this one.
Yeah. Do you guys
Sorry,
not love, by the way, that once A Hole in the World is done and everything else is done, that Illyria gets credit, like, sequence
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this? So badass.
Yeah.
I can't believe they follow this up with Hole in the World. That's just brutal. Like,
Well,
Oh, it's
but it's
Joss
not, it's
Whedon's
not
a
without
bastard.
it's not without precedent. They often do a comedic episode
Oh,
or
yeah.
a light episode before they
Yeah.
tear your heart out.
Yeah, I was
I'm-
gonna say,
like,
with the
it-
body,
it-
if the one before is the goofy episode about the girlfriend who's a robot. It's very,
Yeah, I was
very
Don't
thinking
get me
that was
wrong.
the one I
La, la,
jumped
la.
to immediately.
don't get me wrong, it's great, but it's just so brutal.
Oh, look
It's-
at that HD.
Yeah, no, I think it's inherently by design. I think he did it on
Oh
purpose.
yeah.
It's horrible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This
And
episode puts you in a state of mind like, this is some fun.
It's
and you're like,
so-
holy moly.
Oh, the HD
Yeah.
looks so pretty.
it does.
Oh god, my subtitles were above then. Go down. What are you doing? Stop it.
Uh,
They're on top of the screen.
KGL
I'm gonna
dude
get rid of
says, I always thought of Glory as the ultimate deception of what a god would be. Somebody who's been worshipped their whole life, so they're the most vapid and selfish thing ever. I get that.
I like
get
that.
I get that as
She's
a
hammy. I'm not gonna get it.
no.
She's
I
hammy.
get that as an idea and a metaphor. It just wasn't fun for me to watch.
Yeah.
Would hammy
I'd
be a
agree
word
with
you could
that.
use for it?
Uh,
You know, she plays it up a lot.
And like Glory certainly
It's
is.
no,
like-
okay.
no,
You're
because-
drunk now. You can offend people.
Oh,
because I think I think there is successful hammy, and I think there is tedious hammy, and
Okay.
that's the distinction that I would draw.
I didn't know this. Obviously, we haven't covered season 5 really, so it
It's
makes
not
sense that I
something.
wouldn't know.
It's not something I often bring up, and I won't bring it up after this because
Well, so
people
I'm
love
biased.
Glory, and I don't want. I'm not going to trounce that for anyone. Like,
Yeah, no, of course.
I don't step on people's darlings. I try not to.
Well, I was never a huge fan of it. My sisters
That's
loved
inevitable.
it.
Though.
All 3 of my sisters
I
adored that
find
character, and I was
hers-
always like, okay.
I find her so tedious.
That's interesting though, because I would have thought that would affect your enjoyment of season 5 more so than it seems to.
Season 5 has the body. Season 5 has a wonderful arc to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually like Dawn. That's the one that
Oh.
that's the one that freaks people out. That's the one that freaks people out. I like Dawn, and I don't like Glory.
Okay, Ian,
It's
do you like Connor
I just lost like 1,500 subscribers right there.
You just lost me. We can't be friends.
All I'm
anymore,
waiting for is
sorry.
the reason for it. That's it. I'm just
Well,
waiting for the reason.
No, I think Dawn is representative of the age group. Successfully.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
does not. That doesn't justify it.
She started as a
Accurate.
symbol.
One thing I will say about Glory though is that I do love her intro. Like, you think some crazy badass thing is about to burst through this door? Nope, it's a woman in a red dress.
Yeah.
Also,
you have superpowers. Can you fly?
Kevin says, "Dawn, go home. You're drunk." Passion of the nerd.
He's
not
already
wrong.
home.
I like her in season 7. That's all I'm really gonna give
Yeah,
you.
she's pretty good in season 7. So
Yeah.
considering, I lost my thread right there.
Did you like it when she says "get out, get out, get out" in extremely
No,
high
of course,
tones?
nobody likes that. But I get that episode, and I grew up with two older sisters and two stepsisters, and you know what? Like, a lot of the Dawn drama and Dawn problems ring true to me. Things that I did personally, or things that I witnessed my sisters doing personally, like.
I agree.
You know,
How much I like her, though, isn't determined by how realistic she is.
That's
Yeah.
Fair. That's
Exactly.
fair. Maybe I'm describing a tolerance. I don't know exactly.
That's the thing. I understand the reasoning. That's why I'm okay with it.
Right.
It's just that I can't stand that woman in season 5.
In terms of Glory, let's compare big bads, right? So
Yeah.
top
She
tier,
definitely doesn't stand out.
top tier. The mayor,
Oof. Yes.
And jealous.
the mayor.
And Holt?
has-
Does Holt
has-
score high for you guys? Because he does for me.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And jealous.
let's stick to Buffy for just this.
All right.
this
Yeah.
little
Fair
bit.
enough.
The mayor for me would be top tier. I'm not ranking them, by the way, chat.
Yes,
dare
you
you.
totally.
Settle down, people.
The mayor and Jealous. And Jealous has got to be number 1. Not that I'm ranking them.
Yeah. and jealous is just great though.
No,
It's just great.
no.
No,
Angelus
he's
is the
fantastic.
best. He's the
My
best big
personal
bad.
preference is the mayor. That's it.
Well, yeah, Angelus is laced into the actual fiction. The mayor wasn't.
Yeah.
That's what makes
Yeah.
Angelus so powerful.
Look, you know what it is? It's Harry Groiner, if that's his name. Groiner.
his
Bruner,
performance is
whatever.
pure charisma.
When I
It's-
saw him pop up in season 7, my heart was just like, oh! There he
Yeah,
is.
he's
And
so
I
good.
think David Boreanaz is kind of dull as Angel, but he's so good as
He's
Angel.
he's having fun. Well, in Buffy, yeah, I have objections to.
Wait,
Angelus
interesting
and
fun
Angel.
fact. I don't know if you guys know this. You probably do because you're more into this stuff than I am. But the director of the first episode where Angelus gets to basically like stretch out is Samwise Gamgee.
Oh,
Sean
Yeah,
Astin. He
yeah.
directed
Sean
the
Astin.
episode.
Yeah, I did know.
That's a
didn't
really
know
cool
that.
like little fact.
It's,
just like,
it's
why?
amazing.
That
Like,
is
I don't
really
know what to
cool.
do with this, but it's amazing. Fact.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was really surprised because I saw it on the episode. It was like directed by Sean Astin. I was like, no,
I had
it's not
idea.
him. That's weird. I was like, oh my god, it is him.
I really had no.
Anyway,
idea.
sorry, I cut you off. Go on.
No. We were talking about the best big bads. We were talking about the mayor is developed through his relationship with Faith, right? Angelus has an automatic, interesting way in through Buffy. In season 6, you've got Dark Willow, which come on, right?
Oh, so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna show me what a Slayer is like. Also, I love that line.
I actually think I actually would prefer the Master to Glory.
Oh, careful, dude, careful.
Yeah.
I just the master for me.
You can
the
say it in
reason
front of
why-
me, but these guys aren't gonna take it well.
No. I don't bring this up very often, and I won't again, except for the Mediocre Decisions live streams. Yeah, oof. I just got several. Whoa, oof.
And
Come on, guys.
Uh,
let me just say,
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think you could give me a reason why the Master is better than Glory. You're gonna struggle on that one.
Well,
I do.
Go ahead,
I do
Jack.
like the Master, but I ranked him as my least favorite because he's kind of cliche evil monster villain. You know, like it's very
Kind
tropey in a way.
of, except
Well,
that
I
except
think
that
they
he
did more with him than your typical.
he experiences an earthquake and says, "What do you think about a 7.3?" Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
he,
pretty good.
He is cleverly written.
He's not.
Glory,
Yeah, he's not one dimensional. He's not one dimensional.
Glory, other than the Ben versus Glory stuff, which I admit is funny and hilarious and wonderful. Glory
For a time.
Glory does not have that. Come on, Pandian. I thought we had something. Everyone's
Wait, so can I ask you one question?
Yeah,
Did
go
you
ahead.
ever find her, whenever she turns up in scenes, were you ever like, oh fuck, there she is? For me, like, I appreciate she's one-dimensional, but I was worried for my characters whenever she turned up.
Yes, absolutely. That's the
because
thing.
she's so ridiculously powerful. Like when she rocks up at the house and she finds
Yes.
out Dawn is the key. Like I genuinely feel anxiety watching that.
That
Yeah,
is,
I was like,
that,
oh
I
God,
agree
this
with
is where
that
it ends.
100%. The sense of dread that Glory creates is palpable and wonderful.
Yeah.
And it leads to great moments. Like Glory's immortality or Glory's ability leads to Buffy's freak out. And
I love how this conversation has nothing to do with Smile Time.
I know, it's great.
And the bit where Willow goes into Buffy's dream and Buffy realizes where she gave up, where she's like, I'm abandoning my sister because it's too hard.
Oh, I love that stuff.
That is a
it's a
spectacular
great
moment.
sequence.
It's an emotional moment about like family and difficulty, and there's so much to it. I love all
The casual moment of her putting the book away and she has an incredibly deep thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
So associative.
Yes,
I
and
can
the
so
sound,
relate to
The
that.
sound, the way that episode is edited, I love
The whole
that.
sequence is just amazing.
I love all of the consequences of Glory. I just don't love Glory.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I can get that. As long as
That's
you're
fair.
accepting all of the stuff that people like about it while also
Sure.
saying you personally don't. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
This is what I mean about how you fall into my perspective of objective versus subjective. You nail it, so I'm fine with
We're
it.
still going to have that discussion, especially sober, but yes.
Yeah, if you've got a few free weeks, we could probably get it set up.
Boris says Glory's...
Can I be involved, please? Because I'd like to talk about that too.
Boris says Glory's... Well, it'll be interesting. We have to decide if this thing we're doing right now is a thing. I'm enjoying this.
Have you seen Alias? Either of you?
No, I have not. It's on my to-watch list.
No, I haven't.
It's very cop detective style sort of thing, but it's a James Bond style stuff, I guess. And there's a Q in that show. He's amazing. He's called Marshall. I really love the character. He's very sheepish, but he's very intelligent. Is his thing. There's an episode where he gets kidnapped, and he does such a great job in making it entertaining. But point being, he plays one of Glory's minions, and I noticed because of his head shape. He has a very specific head shape. I'm going to find him for you. Carry on talking. I'm going to find him for you.
That's great.
Boris says Glory's minions are great. I agree with you, Boris.
Yeah, I like them.
There's always a big bad and two little bads, and Glory's minions are the little bad.
I thought those knights that rocked up were a bit sort of came out of nowhere.
Who is the dude?
What dude?
I'm actually reverting to looking at the episode we're supposed to be watching.
Oh yeah. I don't know. It looks.
Can I throw a link in your chat, by the way?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
This is who I'm talking about.
We'll
Click
approve,
that.
we'll approve
Oh, it says I'm not allowed.
Oh, I think I can give you permission. I think.
Well, I can post his name. His name is Kevin Weissman, and he's a very large. I love the guy. He's got a very large forehead, and I saw it in Glory. Glory's Minions, and I was like, "Is that him?" And I actually found him thanks to that. It's insane.
I don't think I can.
Guys, I need to request
But
Guys, I need to request a pause. Can we pause? Are you guys ready?
Do it.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep, do it.
Pause in 3, 2, 1. Pause. I need to pause because the chat is littered with questions, and I also have to go to the bathroom.
Callum, if you want to send me that link on Discord,
I'll send you. It's literally just a link to his IMDb. That's all it is.
All right, I'm getting a ton of questions. I want to go through them real quick. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You two vamp.
Sure thing.
Beer.
Okay.
We
I haven't
can
got
do
any
this.
ads. What have we got here? That dude
We're
is.
YouTube people.
Someone ask us a question.
Yes, ask questions.
Yeah. Oh, so that guy. Yeah, like I said, he's got a very large forehead, and I saw one of her minions. He disappears. By the way, he doesn't die. He stops being one of her minions at one point, and I remember thinking, like, where did he go? And then I just had the thought, it's like he's got a large forehead, like Marshall from Alias, and I was like, oh my god, that is Marshall from Alias.
That's really like well spotted because I'm looking at him now and I can't see a minion there.
Well, this is the thing. Alias, I don't know. Maybe someone in chat will disagree with me, but like I watched the whole thing. I didn't think it was a great show. I thought it was okay, but I loved Marshall. He's like my favorite thing. He's the cutest little
Right.
Q ever.
Okay.
He gives her all her gadgets. They're always ridiculously important to the episode, right? Like he gives her 3, and they're all the perfect things she could need in the episode. But he's really sheepish, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"This is what I made today." And then when he gets attacked after doing his job perfectly well, like the way he deals with it is very endearing, I guess.
Nicole McCormick asked, how can I appreciate Lorne in my everyday life? You can appreciate Lorne by singing, drinking sea breezes. Lorne is just amazing. I love Lorne completely. He's one of my favorites. I want to be best friends with Lorne.
I agree. No Diggity said, admit that the bronze type of club is something that only exists in TV and movies. I always assumed it existed in America. I always assumed that Britain was different, but I've never been to a club where I can fucking hear people. Because it's always so loud.
Doesn't make sense because there's underage kids there, but they appear to serve grog. So
All right, let me run through a couple of them real quick. Miranda says, but Glory's arc is only good second half. The first half of the season doesn't work. I don't know why Glory's arc works second halves, Miranda. So you have to,
I can't answer that either. I have to remember.
You have to throw more in. Boris is Amara versus Glory.
Who's Amara?
It sounds familiar.
Is it Supernatural?
Boris, we've hit. Yeah, it's probably Supernatural, knowing Boris. Boris, we've had bourbon. Nicole says, "How can I appreciate Lorne in my everyday life?"
Yeah, we answered that. Well, I did.
All right, good deal.
Yeah, we already did. Move on.
Aurora says, "Who are the little bads for which season?" We were talking about Glory. So the little bads for I actually talk about this in the Buffy video that I'm gonna post hopefully tomorrow.
Like kissing toasted be one.
So big bad, little bad. Usually there's a big bad and 2 little bads. Big bad for season 1 was the Master. Little bad was the Order of Taraka.
Anointed?
And
Okay.
wait, no, that's season 2, Order of Taraka.
So the little bad for season 1 is...
Anointed is one of the little
3?
bads. The other one is the 3. Yes, so it's the 3, and season 2...
They're not relevant.
Season 2, big bad is Angelus. Little bad is Darla and
Spike and Drusilla?
Spike and Drusilla, yes.
How are you more drunk than me? I've drunk way more than you.
Dear God, I just went to the bathroom. I apparently peed out my brains. Season 3 is...
And no, wait, sorry. The mayor. And Faith. There you go.
Mr. Trick and Faith are the 2 little
bads.
bads.
I love Mr. Trick. He's amazing.
And then you got Adam and Maggie Walsh, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, Adam is supposed to be the big bad, and that's the main issue with season 4. Is that
but he doesn't come in until very late. Really,
Maggie was written as the big bad, so the whole season is supposed to be an indictment of group identity and normalization of, and Maggie is a professor, and she's a scientist, and she's also a military leader, and all of those things are sort of normalizing identity.
Do you think there's much more potential with her than Adam?
Way more potential with her.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And the other little bad, there, I think so. Oh, there's the Initiative. So the Initiative is the first little bad. Right. Season 5 is Glory, and then her underlings, and I don't remember who the other little bad is.
I was going to say, I don't think there really is one, because her underlings are kind of shit, aren't they?
Well,
what about the dude with the jumping around frog knife dude?
Oh, the snake? There is a second little bad.
He has a long tongue.
Yeah.
It's mainly Glory, though, let's be honest.
Season 6, you've got...
Well, technically Dark Willow.
Dark Willow is the big bad. And then you have the trio, but distinct from the trio is Warren. So Warren actually sort of
Yes.
launches off, has a
Yeah,
section where he launches
The
off.
trio,
on his own.
Warren and her. Yeah.
Right.
But
Anyway.
I mean, the real big bad of season 6 is meant to be life and depression and all that. But
Well,
that's
I
a
absolutely
philosophical
think
thing.
that is.
I was gonna say that's the thing that made me hooked on your channel. When you said that, it blew my mind. Because I always was like trying to argue why season 6 works, and people were like the trio are terrible. When you said that, I was like, oh my god,
And
that's
that's
the
why.
key.
And that's why.
There
Double,
it is.
That's why Double
The
Meat
key.
Palace is an amazing episode. Is
don't.
because the big bad is
I'm on your team with that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely on your team
the
with
big
that.
bad is readily apparent in the Double Meat Palace episode. Yeah, well, hold on, Jack. Let me bang out the rest of these. Speech in the Way of the World. Boris. We're good. We're caught up. You guys ready on pause?
Oh wait, so can you show me what's on your screen so I can try and resync with you guys a little bit anyway?
I'm at 1338. We are paused.
No, I mean if you can show me like a screenshot just so I can try and get closer to you guys because I was already ahead of you when I saw you on the stream, so I think my episode is quicker than yours.
I just unpaused, so if you look at the live stream now, you can see where I am.
Oh god, you unpaused.
No,
Why?
but I paused again. I unpaused and paused again.
Oh god, where are you, Ian?
It's not the boxes. Are you past the boxes? I still haven't seen it yet. Am I not live on your Oh, give me a sec. Yeah, there we go.
Ian,
Oh, so you're
Ian,
looking
what's
at
your time
Fred is
code?
looking at the computer screen.
My
Okay.
time, Jack, you and I are on the same one. I'm at 1341.
Alright, got it.
Give me 1 second. Angel's just found out he's a pulpit. And, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's good enough.
Are you guys
All right.
ready?
Yep.
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
Practical science.
Got it.
Oh, Fred, I
Oh,
love
did you
this
love the
so much.
Matrix on his screen, by the way?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Not found a systematic endocrine dysfunction.
Oh, I love
Nicole
Fred.
McCormick says, "How do I like Gwen? I like Gwen a lot. You know what's weird is Gwen feels like the redo of Jira in She. So Jira in She kind of has a similar sort of magical special appeal, and then Gwen in that season with the electricity. Gwen's the shocker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I love about
She's super
Gwen
fun.
is that what I like about her though is that her last name is Raiden, which I want to assume is a Mortal Kombat reference.
Possibly.
Yeah, because you know Raiden's the electric god of thunder. You know,
Angel, what happened? I'm not sure.
I could be wrong, but I want to assume that.
When you get a response, you're like, wait, am I wrong?
I apologize. I got momentarily distracted.
I'm really in a bad position to answer these questions, but like Defrosted Robot said that life is kind of an antagonist in a lot of the seasons. I just feel like 6 did it more so
No,
than
6
any
is
other one.
very in a show that is so much about existentialism. 6 is the existential.
Oh, have you seen? You said you haven't seen Fargo, right?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
So this is not a spoiler, but season 2, there's a person reading Camus' work, and she talks about the myth of Sisyphus and how life is absurd. And there's a character I adore who's very positive about everything, and she says something along the lines of like, "Well, clearly he never had kids." And I was just like, "Oh," because the whole point is trying to draw much more meaning out of life because he's very depressing in the most strict of terms in terms of what he says. And I loved it. I don't want you to watch Fargo. I want you to watch it with me because it's so goddamn good.
Well,
I love Fargo. Season 2
adorable.
surprised me.
This thing
Fargo,
we're doing this evening
right?
kind of provides us a different medium to do
True.
stuff like that.
Well, I
Is-
don't know. You probably won't be able to listen to much of it with us rambling on.
No, that's
that-
we're kind of obligated to talk over the top of it.
It's based on the movie, right?
Well, so season
No.
1 is essentially a sequel to the movie,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
But
okay.
in a very vague way. There's about 3 or
Right.
4 different important elements, but you don't even need to see the movie.
Right.
Season
Okay.
2 is entirely separated from season 1. You don't
'Cause-
need. You could watch season 2 first, and it doesn't matter. And I was
Right.
so blown away by how good season 2 is
Oh,
when it
this-
has nothing to do with season 1.
This is kind of
Because I saw the movie many years ago. I barely remember it, but yeah.
I love the movie.
This is kind of fascinating. Kevin Lockhart asks, don't you think it was a little hypocritical of Buffy when she says they forced the first Slayer into being? Then later she makes every potential Slayer a Slayer without asking.
Oh.
It's actually a very good point because
That is a wonderful question.
it's, the way Buffy sees it is almost
It's giving them
viciously forced a power on her. The scene where she's like choking on the black stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By comparison, she's empowering the women, right?
She likens it to rape in that scene, absolutely, because she's chained to the ground.
Yeah, so it's like two sides of a coin in a way.
But I guess when she does it at the end of season 7, because there's potentially thousands of Slayers in the world, not all of them have to, fight demons and do all that stuff. They can just live their lives. So maybe it's a little different. Whereas forcing just one person,
it's an interesting question of consent. Calvin says the difference is they are not alone.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was saying. Yeah.
Then again, if all the potentials are activated, the burden is shared and becomes less harmful. Yeah, exactly.
The guy before the current guy I watched the whole show with, he said when she empowered everyone, she was like, "What if she empowered a crazy person?" And I was like, "Oh!"
And then she did.
Yes.
Oh, I love Damages so much.
I was so happy you asked that question. I was like, you hold on to that question.
Damage is so good. That episode is kind of rare in the show where they sort of multiply out the permutations of the lore.
Yeah.
And then say, well, what would happen? What could happen? And Damage is... I love that episode.
This is the thing. It's kind of depressing in a way, but we just watched the Faith. I told you about. We just got through the Faith sort of arc in season 1 of Angel, and he said, my friend said, like, the Watchers Council, they're not very good at their job, are they? And I was like, no, not really. And I was waiting for him to sort of come to a conclusion. Then he was like, I really can't wait to see more of how it all works and like what their position in the world is. And I was like, oh yeah.
Nicole,
not really. No.
Oh well, hold on. Sorry, Nicole.
Just turn around and walk away.
Nicole, you wandered in at an inopportune moment.
Oh, you can answer that question. I was just going to say, what do you think about?
No, I will, but hold on. Moment of silence.
Oh right, good. Yes.
You're a wee little puppet man.
You're a wee little puppet man.
I love James Masters. He's so good.
What the hell happened to you?
That's the thing. What is his age right at this moment? Is it 30 something?
No, I think he might be 40.
This is the thing. He looks young for his age here.
Yeah.
He's currently in his 50s, so yeah, he'd be like close to 40.
Yeah, that's because he didn't get fat and abuse a bunch of drugs.
Yeah. This is what I mean. I was
Apparently
like,
that's good for you. I don't know. It sounds boring.
Just come back.
Yeah,
don't care if you look old. Do it.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, I'm willing to just give it a pass and just whatever.
When you fought through the wall at the end of Angel season 5, you got roughed up. Okay, you got some wrinkles.
Nicole asked me, "Is there a death in the Buffyverse you wished didn't happen, either because you thought it was unnecessary or it was your favorite character or something?"
Hands down, Fred, because I love Fred so much that I want to marry her.
I need it for Wesley's arc.
Yeah. Mine is Buffy's therapist in season 3.
That's true.
You know what? I think I agree with you.
I don't remember his name, but he's so goddamn charming.
Platt.
Mr. Platt! Mr. Platt!
The guy with the cigarette.
I liked him. Dude, the friend of mine, he watched the one scene with him, he said, I like this guy. Is this going to be a regular thing? And I was like,
That's David Fury. They got the...
It would have been cool to
got the
keep
mustard out.
Snyder alive, I guess.
No,
Mr.
Platt. I always thought, it's sort of cliche, obviously, but I always thought the conversation they developed in that episode, where they were sort of talking about the monsters and what she actually goes through, but not talking about it, would have been fascinating carried out throughout.
In your
that
episode,
season.
you referenced Awake, which you've seen Awake, I assume.
Yes, I've seen Awake.
I really like the concept, and I'm so gutted they only got one season. I really want to see how they're
the concept. The trailer for that show before it came on made me want to cry.
I'm a super fanboy for Jason Isaacs as an actor. I feel like he's underrated.
He's so good.
But I was gonna say, like, yeah, he talks to her, like Platt now. He talks to Buffy in a very life problems, very very much way, but she can apply it to all of her demon problems. That's what I thought the potential was. That every so often he could talk to her about like how this is how you deal with this in real life, and then she translates it to demon world. And I thought that was a huge opportunity, but the show was obviously going in a different way.
Maybe they thought it was too on the nose. I mean, I don't know. Wait.
Yeah, potentially.
Fred wasn't
But-
actually.
I think
Yeah.
it's just the actor, maybe, that he just made him so likable in one scene. I was already on board with him.
He sells the hell out of that character
Bye now.
with the spray and
Ooh.
wait. Are we talking again about Buffy's counselor? Whoa.
Yes, Platt, right?
Yeah, Mr. Platt.
Yeah.
That guy.
Also,
he's-
that scene's great, by the way, for setting up Gunn's arc. I don't know, I just want to put that out. I love Season 5 so much.
Season 5
Oh,
is
yeah.
amazing. And that is really gross.
Yes. A friend of mine audibly cringed when he saw that. He was like, "Yeah." I was like, yeah, I guess it is gross. I was like, "Ugh." But Defrosted Robot said Jason Isaacs is great in Discovery. Have you, as Americans / Australians, have you seen the film The Patriot by Roland Emmerich?
I have.
Mel Gibson's in it.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I'm controversially someone who will defend that as a great film, not
Really?
even just.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
I hate
I like
I
that
am
movie.
sorry.
I hate
Sorry to
that
say this.
movie.
I discount it in terms of historical accuracy. I throw
Oh,
that out the
yeah.
fucking window.
It's absolute bullshit when it
Jason
comes.
I don't
Isaacs is a
get-
fantastic villain
He's
in that
great.
film.
Yeah, he's great in it.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, he is good.
I still hate that movie.
Any big reason that I can work with a bit?
The spoiler death in that movie is not telegraphed, is manipulative, and
You talking about the Joker? To remain vague.
well, that's not that vague, but yes.
It's really not that vague at all.
I
Yeah.
think we should worry about spoiling a film that was like 20 years ago. It'd be alright.
I don't know. I've had bourbon, brother.
I thought it was
saw
perfect. I thought that death was perfect. He's
I
pursuing
saw it at the
Zen.
movies, and I just remember really liking it. I haven't seen it in years, but I
I
like
love it.
Also, I think that movie followed Braveheart, and Braveheart
Oh, Braveheart.
is
Better than Braveheart.
Braveheart is lovely, but Braveheart feels sort of masturbatory on some level, where you're like, okay, I can get into this, but is it weird? No, it's not weird. I can get into this. And then you watch that movie, and the focus on him as the main character. Wait, hold on.
Wait, is it the scene you want to watch?
Yes, sorry.
I
Go on, go on, go on.
I love this episode and I love this bit.
Yeah, no, it's great.
David Fury?
Also, I wouldn't be able to resist. If I was the showrunner, I wouldn't resist being put myself in at some point.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm going to be the giant fat guy that falls out of the vending machine. Here we go. Let's do this.
I love
Go.
Braveheart.
I'd love to know where you were going with what you said.
No, I watched The Patriot once or twice. But it was I found.
Wait, so can I just sell one thing to you?
Sure.
His the daughter, when she's mute. Well, she's not mute, but she doesn't talk to anybody. And Mel Gibson's like constantly trying to just connect with her. And then the scene where he's going off to war again, and she won't talk to him, and he walks away from her, and then she like loses her shit and runs after him. She's like 4 years old or 3. I can't hold myself when I see that scene.
Maybe
It's unbelievably cute, and Mel Gibson nails it. By the way, he's a great actor. I'm not going to comment on his personality in real life.
I mean, the guy is a dick, but he's a great actor.
It's just the point where I start to feel like I don't know how to describe the boundary. Like he's the focal point of that movie, and every event that occurs around him occurs and affects him directly.
I think it's Mel Gibson that's the main character, and then his son is involved quite significantly
He is the main
until he gets
character.
himself killed.
Spoiler for anyone who
I don't know.
was desperately wanting to watch The Patriot.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's so old. Come on.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I love Braveheart as a film, as a dramatic piece, but pretty much everything that happens in it didn't happen in real life. It's all bullshit. And that kind of bugs me because, like, for example, Robert the Bruce never betrayed him, so it's kind of wrong to sort of sully the memory of this real person because there's so many people out there that wouldn't bother to research it and look it up.
Right.
To me, that's wrong.
So, question.
So,
I have to steer another direction for just a sec.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Nina?
I am absolutely neutral. I have no hate or love towards her.
Nina? Who's Nina?
I feel, honestly,
Exactly,
I love
Jack.
season 5. She feels a little bit wedged in.
Nina.
Well, at this point in season 5,
She's fine at this point.
This
When
is
she
great.
becomes,
This is a great bit, though, right?
yeah, that's great. When he's sleeping with her, I
Oh,
was like,
that chick.
That's
Nina.
Nina.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
yeah, not even a blip on the radar for me.
And my little prince, really? He's your little prince, Lorne.
I love Lorne. I want to be best
Everyone
friends.
loves.
Oh, it's
No one
beautiful.
hates Lorne. There are people who hate Xander. There are people who don't
No,
like
Lorne is perfect.
Willow. Everybody
if you hate-
loves Lorne.
If you hate Lorne, you have no soul
Yeah.
or no
this
heart,
is
no
this is
personality,
why I love
nothing.
season 5. It gave purpose to Gunn, Fred, Lorne as well. Because
Everyone-
Lorne had some
everyone had
purpose.
a role.
Everyone gets a purpose.
Yeah, everyone had a
They're all there for a fucking reason. It's beautiful. I love this season so much. I cite it as my favorite season of television. So this is probably
That
tells you
doctor
something.
guy looks familiar. He kind of looks
He
like
does, yeah, he
creepy.
does. He's been in something.
yeah. That's not Doug. No, it's not Doug Jones. No.
Oh, but yeah, I love. Sorry, kind of off topic. I love the final fight between Mel Gibson and Jason Isaacs in Patriot, and it would be one of my top picks for like final fights between two characters. And another one is Troy, by the way, between Achilles and.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any
No, that's
any
a
thoughts
wonderful-
about
That's a wonderful fight.
sort of? Yeah, I love. Nostalgia Critic called it monos. I just call it boss fights, basically.
Yeah.
Good guys versus bad guys, bosses.
Yeah.
The Raid, that film. Oof. The Raid 2's got probably the best boss fight in the history of film.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it either, actually.
It's just insanely intense. But yeah, do you have any off the top of your head? I don't want to go too far off topic, but I'm just curious.
We're talking about boss fights?
That's what I call them, yeah.
It's not technically a boss fight, but I love in Fight Club when the narrator realizes Tyler isn't real, and
Yeah.
like he's punching himself and all that stuff. I
See,
think
that's
that
something I'm more concerned for spoilers, Ian. That was more.
Whoops. I mean,
Kevin, I apologize. Calvin. By the way, I've received several messages immediately following saying I don't like Lorne, so I must have no soul.
Everyone's wrong. That doesn't like.
yeah, that's just wrong. I'm sorry. That is objectively wrong. Please don't hate us. We're sorry. Everybody's gonna unsub because of me. I'm sorry. Ian, I sank your channel.
Well,
Do you know what?
it was
As
fun
well,
while it lasted.
the last scene with Lorne as well is so perfect considering
Oh,
his
yeah,
that
oh,
point.
God.
Folks.
I
The
love
Good Night
Not
Folks
Fade
is
Away.
perfect.
That gives me the feels, man.
Well, I was actually going to ask Ian: is there a show that you feel was finished off better than Not Fade Away for Angel? Because for me, it's Not Fade Away. That's my top dog for a season finished perfectly, or a series finished
No,
the
it's
best.
my favorite finale of any show.
A friend of mine,
Breaking
the one
Bad
that-
came close, but
No.
still, yeah, not
I
Fade
felt like
Away's
Breaking Bad
better.
was the standard finish. I felt when I finished it, I was like, that's kind of what I expected. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
but that's
Not
the-
Fade Away blew me away.
The reason why you can't compare it, and you and I have talked about this, the reason why you can't compare the Breaking Bad finale is that the climax of that last season of Breaking Bad occurs 3 episodes earlier in in Orpheus.
Yes.
Or no, Ozymandias.
Wait, Ozymandias.
not
Ozymandias,
Orpheus.
yeah.
Yeah, not Orpheus. That
Hank's death I struggled with. When I saw that.
directed by Ryan Johnson, by the way.
I know. It does not fucking matter. That episode is fantastic.
I understand that episode is amazing, and that is the emotional climax of the season.
Yeah.
And
I have never
I'm totally
said
good
that he's
with
not
that.
a good director, by the way. I've never said he's not a good director. It's the writing you have to keep him away from.
I love Ozymandias. That episode is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Oh, wait, Jack. How do you pronounce it?
But that's why Not Fade Away is better
What?
than Breaking Bad.
How do you
finale?
He says Ozymandias or whatever. I say Ozymandias. How do you pronounce it?
I would say Ozymandias.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm not sure if it's British versus America or I'm just retarded, but I say Ozymandias.
I don't even know what that means, to be
Wait,
honest.
how is it pronounced in Watchmen?
Ozymandias.
Yeah, I might just be wrong then.
No,
One thing-
but Watchmen is an American movie, so
He's nice enough.
Oh, fair enough. I don't know.
that doesn't mean
Yeah,
it's right. It just means it's American.
But I don't know where I got it from. I might have invented it. That's my problem.
I totally understand. Can I tell you? There's a what was the word? There was some word. I was.
Oh, we just went past the part where Thingy recognizes that Wesley is now the person that Fred's interested. Sorry.
No. We should be watching the episode.
I know.
It's so cute though, because when I first saw this, I was like, yes, Wesley's finally.
Are we gonna back up or are we gonna keep going?
Dude, anything that extends the time I get to talk to you
All right,
guys
let's
tonight,
back up.
I'm on
I'm gonna
board
go
with
to
it.
3146. Are you guys?
Just tell me what you see. when you
30,
back up to
30
it.
what?
3146.
Okay.
What do you
hang on.
see?
So I'm pausing now. We're going to 3146, and it's douchebag Bigelow, the guy who actually killed
is-
Fred. It's his face.
3146?
3146.
Did you guys not find it so emotionally high when Wesley stabbed Gunn after seeing him in the office?
Oh, dude.
Well, of course. This is
Yeah,
such a
man.
good season.
You know what I will say, sorry, about all of the series, season 5 never fails in the person I'm watching it with saying, okay, next episode. They say it. I don't have
keep
to say
going.
it.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Are we pressing play? Or...
So I'm at 3146, 47.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, I'm just going to try and match it with what I see on your stream, but yeah, sure.
You see it? Oh, here, let me move my head. There, you see the picture?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not sure.
He looks
I can't.
slightly flabbergasted.
Oh, it's probably when they tell him to go away, is it?
Not yet.
When he says really, Merlin,
Really?
I remember watching it and be like, oh, fuck off.
Are we gonna unpause in 3?
Yeah,
2,
I'm good.
1, go.
You know what? I think we can handle it from
You know
One
what?
thing
I think we can handle it from here. You freaking nerd.
It's okay. Somebody's gotta deal with it.
One thing I do
Oh, I
want to
love
say
this season
about
way too much.
not fade away though is that I will admit the first time I saw it, it was hard for me to digest because I was like, wait, what? But what happened? What?
Yeah.
What? You can't end
What?
it. What?
Out
What
of the 4
hell
people I've
happened?
watched the whole show with, one of them said, you can't end the show there, and the other 3 said that was an amazing end to the show.
Well, that's the thing. It was actually Ian talking about it that made me realize, oh no, wait, it's actually beautiful.
The battle
it's
goes
poignant.
on.
It's perfect. And yeah, so now I love it, but the first time I saw it, I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's
I-
the
when I was,
weirdest
when I was a
thing.
Totally
kid, I
get it
wanted
now.
more, honestly.
It's
When I
the-
was a kid, I was like, I have to see what happens next.
It's the
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the weirdest thing about this show that the
Plus, he doesn't.
mission statement occurs in 3 episodes of Buffy.
Yeah.
And what's weird is the question, the wrong answers, and the solution all occur in 3 episodes of Buffy. And they get played out over 5 seasons of Angel. And he sometimes gets the answer and then sometimes goes away from it. So, thinking about how I'm going to talk about it has been kind of challenging, because Buffy is very linear in the procedure of the ideas. With Angel, it's like he has to get the same answer a couple of times.
Yeah.
But so do we, and so that's
Yeah.
kind of going to be my.
Dude,
way into
well,
it.
with
But
your
yeah.
assessment of the whole, like, when you made it so bloody clear to me, the whole, like, you don't fight because you reach an ending, you do it because it's the right thing to do, and you need to be
Yeah.
one of those people are important to this world. I was just like, yeah, I'm sold for the rest of my life. I'll be doing what I think is right.
Yeah, that's actually in the why you should watch Angel video too, and that's one of my favorite little bits is right is
That's
right
season 2, right?
right is right regardless of its futility.
Yeah,
And,
perfect.
and that's tough, right? Like,
That's how
I mean, it's the
Yeah.
concept of a principle, right? Like,
Right.
you do it regardless of what it leads you to. That's Captain America in a character.
there are things we do even if we're
Yeah.
not gonna win. And okay,
Oh, Ian, have you heard of a guy called Matthew Colville?
I haven't. No.
I love him so much.
Okay, wait.
Oh my
So
God.
you pause, Jack.
Are we pausing?
So,
are we pausing?
Oh, well, go ahead. I was just going to say, Matthew Colville does a bunch of videos. I was introduced to him by a friend. He has a bunch of Star Wars videos. The person said, watch his Last Jedi video. And I was like, sure. I love the video, but there's one thing that he said that mightily pissed me off. He said that you can always draw meaning from Star Wars. There's always something to chew on. There's always some lesson. It's a fairy tale at the very core, which is always inherent of a lesson. And he said, do you want films that you're just going to watch for popcorn value, films that don't really have any meaning? Go watch Marvel films. I wanted to punch him.
What?
It's not true. Marvel films have plenty of bloody meaning.
Yeah,
It's
see,
unfair to say that they have no meaning.
See, I like his D&D stuff. That's the only
Oh,
stuff
sure.
I watch from him.
This is the thing.
He's-
I've
he's
still
great with
subscribed. I like the guy. I was just so
Yeah.
pissed off by that statement.
that.
I was like,
Yeah, that's absolute bullshit.
Marvel
that
is not Transformers, okay? Marvel has a
No.
lot more going for
Oh,
it.
All
Transformers, Shudder. Ooh.
right, I'm pausing in 3, 2, 1, go.
But yeah, it pissed me off quite a lot. I was just like, how dare you? I like Marvel.
pull the trigger today for sure.
Yeah, that's absolute bullshit.
Frampkin's not doing this.
And it's weird because he was defending The Last Jedi at the time, which to me, I'm like, absolutely, draw as much meaning from that film as you'd like to, because I consider it subjective. But to actually draw a wall on Marvel and to be like, yeah, there's not much meaning you can get from them, I just feel like, excuse me? Excuse me? And yeah, I don't know if we've said this publicly, but like me and Ian both have decided that we want to do some kind of Marvel series because for me, it's really important to me. I love superheroes. A very childish perspective is I love people with powers doing right
Yeah, me too.
and then having
I've
problems.
always loved superheroes.
It's probably why I like Buffy and Angel so much. They're both people with superpowers
Well,
trying to deal with.
They're
You know.
they're
I've
superhero
al-
shows.
I've also always been a horror fan, so that really attracted me to Buffy.
Kevin says,
Yeah,
wasn't
fair.
Angel a metaphor for alcoholism or something? So coming to the same answer a few times was symbolic of that. Yes,
Ian,
there's-
Ian,
go
no
ahead.
diggity said Marvel movies just have formula movies. They aren't deep. Respond to that question.
That's it. I'm gonna ban. No, I'm kidding. I won't.
Yeah, disagree?
I can talk about Age of Ultron and Civil War for as long as Buffy.
We don't need to.
Massively disagree.
No, of course.
we
I'm
will-
just
but
saying
we
that
will.
there's so much to talk about
We
with those.
should formulate or do some kind of crossover at some point.
Oh, dude, I offer that to every YouTuber I meet. I love the idea to share ideas, to conflict.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I'm not a real YouTuber.
Wait, who are you again, Jack?
Hi, I'm Jack.
Hear me roar.
I sit here and look pretty. That's what I do.
Do you know how weird it is to open an assessment of Marvel in terms of like, let me defend it? I never thought I'd be in that position
Yeah.
because Marvel's so popular, but like people treat it so unfairly for how popular it is.
Well, it's a problem of proliferation.
Jess
Yeah.
doesn't really like the Marvel movies.
Ellen Away says, would love to hear your opinion of Jessica Jones Season 1. I would love to talk about that, actually.
I love it.
Wait, how about that, Ian? If you do your series on Marvel and I do mine, we'll cross over on the Avengers because that's a Joss Whedon fantastic piece of work.
Alright, sounds good. Yeah, and one we actually agree on.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing I don't like about the movie, so if
Yeah.
there's something you don't like, then that's
Yeah.
where we can start. Yeah.
I don't like Captain America's stupid outfit.
That's what we'll focus on then. But yeah, I just I get personally hurt when people say there's nothing to gain from Marvel in a meaningful sense.
Well,
It's very sad.
it's like
there's a lot there.
there are myths. That, you know, like there's nothing to gain from mythology. Well, but comics are contemporary myths. So
Right.
Absolutely. I'm already stuck at the part where it's subjective anyway. I don't understand how you
Yes,
can make a
Mara,
definitive
that's
claim
me.
about meaning. Because you can get meaning from the room. I actually argued this on a debate. It's like you can do it. But the Avengers? Like, that's a really good film.
I love the egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the
Oh,
fucking
this is great, this is
Fred
great.
shoots the shit out of it. It's
This
fantastic.
is great.
It's like Angel versus Sesame Street. It's so ridiculous. It's great.
Oh, here's a question. Did you think in the Avengers, Coulson's death was almost perfect and it's kind of ruined by the TV show with just resurrecting him?
A little bit, yeah. And
I really
what's
love
weird
his
is,
death in the film.
What's weird is too
But,
the show is not violated, but I heard we hold on. Sorry, I'm very distracted by how awesome this is.
Yeah, no, Vampire Puppet is one of the best things that came out of these two shows.
Yeah. You can actually buy it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just badass. He was my icon for many years. Vampire
By the way,
Puppet.
just calling out time code 3905.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Did you want to say something? Or?
I'm watching the egg get destroyed.
Wait, is Ian drunk? Yeah, I'm the only sober person currently.
Yeah, Jack is.
You don't know nothing about this
Jack, you fucking
snobbish.
nerd.
Well,
Nerd.
someone has to stop this ship from sinking.
Wait. Can I be elitist and respond to Defrosted
Yes.
Robot? There's rarely. I don't know. You'd have to pitch it to me, but the only resurrection that I think was handled almost pitch perfectly was Buffy's in season 6. To revive a character from a meaningful death in such a way that provides so much conflict and meaning, pulling her out of heaven. That's some deep stuff right there. Versus bringing a character back because you love the character.
God, I love season 6.
Angel's resurrection, quote unquote, was very sort of hammy, very I don't know, like they just pulled that out of their asses, really.
That's why I would kind of agree with you, to be honest. It's Buffy's that I love. My friends usually get very frustrated. They're like, "Oh, they just killed her and bring her back," and I'm like, "Yes, but."
The show is called Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Of course, yeah. They always ask me both in season 1 and season 5. They're like, "She's gonna come back," and I'm like, "Yeah, shut up. I know that she's gonna come back, but watch the journey. The journey is what's important."
That's what matters.
Okay, and in defense, Defrosted Robot, I've not watched S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show. I've not been sold on it. I've not even tested one episode. I need someone to sell me on it.
I hear it's okay.
Just got off the phone.
It's
I had a
Joss
friend who
Whedon,
went
isn't
through
it?
4 seasons, and he said that the biggest thing...
Hold on, moment of silence.
Yeah?
I'm gonna go ahead and crank the volume just for a second.
All right.
I love you, Fred.
Moment of silence.
Oh, see?
We have, if we do these episode watches, we have to have the moment of silence.
You're just gonna go, aren't you?
You're gonna make me cry, god damn it.
Have you been
Oh.
sensing anything lately
They-
about me, coming from me? Didn't occur to you that
Would he not get these signals?
I'm looking at
They-
you?
I think the point is that he
Okay.
thought he was so locked off from her that he's decided, yes, I'm just a friend.
They got one day.
It's
one
so goddamn good.
Freaking day!
It's not right, man. Oh.
Also, I was going to say, I don't know about you guys, but I've had a friend who was interested in me and I didn't notice until they made it very bluntly.
Oh, wow.
Well, why didn't you brag about it, man? Jesus Christ!
I was just going to say, like, this is probably informs the fact that I think Wesley's got the best character arc. I was just like,
yeah, no,
oh
he
my
is
God,
a
I've
lovely
been through
arc.
that shit.
He is lovely.
I had one girl who made it blatantly obvious that she was into me, and I just wasn't feeling it. And then she told my sister, and my sister was like, "Oh, don't worry, I will get him to like you." And I'm just like, "What the fuck have you done?"
Can I?
What?
I don't think it's too not safe for work, but can I tell you the reason why I actually finally noticed? Is that okay, or is it?
Yeah,
or is
yeah,
you
go
consider-
ahead. Go, no.
Yeah, go for it.
So we were in a big friends group. There was only one girl in it, and I was just like la 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 through most of life. And so my friends all had this sort of in joke where they would ridicule that she wore a bra size that was way too big for her to try and make it seem like she had a bigger breast size. I didn't care. And at one point she said, "Okay, to prove it, I will allow one of you to look at how big my actual breast size is." And I was just like, "Yeah, that will probably prove it, actually." And she was like, "Yeah, so would you do it?" And I was like, "No, I'm okay. You can get someone else to do it, I guess."
Oh,
And she
savage!
looked at me, and I'll never forget the look. She was just like, "Are you fucking serious?" I was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. I don't need to be the
I
guy who
mean,
does it."
Dude,
You're a savage, man. Well,
dude,
I didn't realize. But the sad part is, I look back and I would have been like, "Oh man, I would have dated her as well." I didn't know. I'm so
dude.
stupid. I didn't know.
Dude, I get it. You know, you're not a scientist. Like, I didn't. No one brings their protractor everywhere, so you
Yeah.
just don't know. You don't know.
And I just like again, if I could go back, I'd have been like, absolutely, I will clear up this mystery for everyone.
Like, why? I just, as a heterosexual male, I don't understand why any guy would knock that back.
Yeah, I was brought up by parents that said you could watch Silence of the Lambs, but you cannot watch anything that shows a nipple.
Oh,
Right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was
Violence versus sex is amazing.
so
Hold
I
on,
saw the
gentlemen.
most horrific horror films, but I was just when she said that, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm alright, no fun. I didn't see it as an actual interest thing. I was like, I looked at it logistically. I was just like, anyone has eyes. So you could do it.
Jack, can you do me a favor?
Yes, I can.
Would you put Cal's channel and Twitter in the chat?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was meant to be spamming that a lot.
No.
but
Yeah, let's do it now.
I did before.
So,
How much time do we have to talk in general? I don't want this night.
we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here, everyone. I appreciate it. We've been streaming now for 3.5 hours.
Damn.
So
Wow.
the idea tonight was just to be kind of a sort of less formal, less I don't know, less built up.
We
kind
should
of,
do this again. It was a lot of fun.
Less
Oh,
built-
absolutely.
yeah,
Are you
less-
kidding me?
less built up kind of conversation about the channel and so forth.
And next time I'll get drunk too.
We definitely still want to do the Bad Decision live streams, but
Yeah.
I wanted to see if you were interested in these, and
What do we call these?
Yeah, what did you call them before, Ian?
I was calling it the Mediocre Decision live streams.
Yeah,
I'm
I
okay
like
with
that. let's run with that.
So just let me know if you're interested in these going forward, or what you thought of it. I appreciate it, and have a good evening.